Oh man. Great. And mhm. Let's see. Uh-huh. Let's see. All right, greetings, fam. Also in Faye, founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. And let's go. All right. This is the global conspiracy to right all wrongs. We are the breakers of curses, the casters of glorious conspiracies, and the creators of the new world. I, Cassandra, Faye, Floyd, am a divine instrument of my mother's divine will. As such, I am protected and guided by the sacred blood and water of my mother, Jacqueline Jeanette Cook's body, that anointed my entry into this life. I am divine because she is divine. Mommy and I are one. I call all of our mothers to this moment. I call on they who govern everything, all time and every space in between. She with 10,000 names. Today it is Oya, Yemaya, Oshun, Iyami Ajay, Kali, Seknet, divine architects of existence, usheresses of the new age. Mommy and I are one. I call upon all the divine ancestors and the ashe of every mother on earth to break every curse ever cast upon the mother and her children in all timelines and in every dimension. Mommy and I are one. We, the mother's divine children, conspire today to forever bind those who have or would harm you, great mother. Mommy and I are one. We conspire together today to destroy everything and everyone and every timeline and every dimension that has caused suffering and despair. Mommy and I are one. Today, we embody the sacred and divine power of our mothers. Today, we the tree, we the weavers rewrite all time. Today, we the tree, we the weavers rewrite the book of life. Today, we our mothers' children call the winds of change. We conjure the primordial dark. We summon the sacred serpent deep from within the earth. We subdue the rogue sun. We control the light. We heal the harm. We embolden the fearful. We instill courageous action. Today, we are staging a global evolution as is our mother's divine will. Mommy and I are one. We, the architects of the new age, now create the new institutions, the new traditions, the new culture, the new ways of being. We ecstatically welcome the radical destruction of all institutions of hate and harm erected by the godheads of war. Mommy and I are one. We have the power. We have the voice. We are the portals of change. Now we employ our sacred breath and we give life and blood to this conspiracy. Mommy and I are one. We command, come the wind, come the storm, come the lightning, capture and judge all godheads of war and all betrayers of the most divine will. Bring their confusion and war to an immediate end. Scatter them to oblivion, never to be resurrected. We are the fates. We are the furies. We are the Iyami Ajay. We are the disseminators of divine time, divine retribution, divine rectification, and evolutionary justice. We are the restorers of heaven on earth under the mother's divine reign. We wake the sacred serpent from her sleep to assist us in this sacred assignment. Love unlimited is our birthright. Harmony is our birthright. Ecstasy is our birthright. Pleasure is our birthright. Freedom is our birthright. This is her divine will, and we are the divine executors of her will. We speak her will into the now to reverberate throughout all time, all space, and all dimensions. It is certainly as we say, forever and ever. Mommy and I are one. Mommy and I are one. Mommy and I are one. All right, everybody. So hopefully y'all are well. Um, greetings, everybody. Up on YouTube. Greetings for those of you who are tuning in via IG. Got some things I want to talk to you about. Did y'all like the hold on, let me see if I can clean this off a little bit. Did y'all like the little thumbnail I used for today live? That didn't help at all. Look. Let y'all see my shirt while I'm wiping off the camera. Woo. Yeah, it's a little better. Got like my shirt. And, dang, what is going on with my skin? We two, we one mother's divine children, inspired together today to forever by those who would harm you, great mother. We together today, we conspire together today to destroy everyone, every timeline and dimension that has caused suffering and despair. Oh, yeah, there we go. Awesome. All right, listen. What was I saying? I don't know. But anyway, oh, did you like the thumbnail? Did you like the thumbnail? The old me. Why you always lying? Stop your fucking lying. Why you lying? Wait, he said, my God. Why you always lying? That's the theme for the day. And I started to, but I've already made it the theme. I've already made it the theme a couple of weeks ago. It was in the video entitled, what did I call it? It's working, it's working, it's working, it's working, it's working. Oh, hold on. I got 2 more things I got to do. Where is it at? Yeah. Okay. Oh, here we go. All right. Thrice 300 years having run their course of fulfillment, Rome by the strife her people shall perish. Rome is doomed to perish, and that indeed by the judgment of God, because it held her name in hatred, and being the enemy of righteousness, it destroyed the people who kept the truth. There shall come to thee some time from above a heavenly stroke deserved, O haughty Rome, and thou shalt be the first to bend thy neck and be razed to the ground, and thee shall fire destructive utterly consume, cast down upon thy pavements, and thy wealth shall perish, and wolves and foxes dwell in thy foundation, and then shalt thou be wholly desolate, as if not born. Okay. I, Cassandra Faye Floyd, is a peculiar expression of the almighty divine she, the great cosmic mother, now joined in breath with my global family to conspire on behalf of the whole made well. We are breathing these words together to ensure that our home, her body, is restored to her original perfect glory. Her glory is perfect in peace, love, bliss, happiness, and ecstasy. This world exists because we collectively will it so. We, as the representatives of the mother's reign on earth, speak this beautiful conspiracy as a single cosmic earthly orchestra to guarantee heaven on earth in joyful compliance with our mother's divine will. Possessing the power of our mothers, we speak this glorious future now. It is certainly as we it is certainly as we say, Mommy and I are one. So listen. The reason I got the why you always lying guy on the thumbnail is because a lot's happened in the few days that I've been up off of here. You feel me? One, namely, and the reason I was gonna call this working is working is working. Oh, is because I know y'all been paying attention to the news of the last 3, 4, 5 days. You feel me? These last few days of this most magnanimous month that has been known as July. A whole host of shit has happened in the month of July, as I told you it would. You feel me? I want to read something to you. This is from an album. It's a meditation done, written by a friend of mine. Now he practices the Kemetic. Well, you know what? He practices both Ifa and the Kemetic spiritual system. And this was on one of his albums. I'll see if I can find it because it's so dope. And everybody tripping out about the thumbnail for the for this live. Yes, I love it, right? So anyway, I want to read this meditation to you. I felt like it was um timely today. This was written by a friend of mine. His name is Tahir RBG. He has been a longtime producer, lyricist, rapper, artist for on his own and with the group most popularly known as Dead Prayers. This is Tahir RBG. This is a meditation he did on one of his like very obscure B-sides albums, but I love this meditation. You feel me? I'm gonna share this with you today. Actually, there's two things of his I'm gonna share with you today. I'm gonna have to find this album because it's so dope. Okay, but it's it goes, I come forth triumphantly against my enemies. Listen, this is why I thought it was so important today. Listen, this is by my brother Tahir. I come forth triumphantly against my enemies. I split the heavens and open up the horizons. I travel across the earth on the heels of my enemy. I cause the glorious and great ones to come to me, for I am equipped with the words of power. I eat with my own mouth and chew with my own jaw, for I worship God in heaven, and I am given that which endures in the midst of things which are overthrown. Stand back from my path, for I am one with Ra, coming forth across the horizons against my enemies, who shall not be rescued from me. I have stretched out my hand as the Lord of the crown of Upper Egypt. I lift up my legs as one who hurries the dawn. My enemies shall not escape me. Indeed, they shall fall before me. He has been given to me and shall not be rescued. Listen, y'all, my enemy. He has been given to me and shall not be rescued. I stand up as Heru, beloved son and avenger of his father. I sit down as Ptah, God who laid the foundations of the universe. I have grown strong as Tahuti, wisdom exalted. I become as powerful as Atun, Ra as the perfecter. I walk with my own feet. I speak with my own mouth. I pursue my enemies. He is given to me, and he shall not be rescued from me. I have entered as a falcon and come forth as a phoenix. Morning star, make way for me, so I may adore Ra in the beautiful paradise of the West. Ashe. Woo! Now that is to music. That is to music. So I got to find this brother's album because that meditation I just read to you is to music. It's so fire. It's so as powerful as it was just to read it, man. To hear it to music is so powerful. And this is the second one he did. I love this one too. This whole album that he did was like all this kind of like um all of the whole album is like spiritual stuff. It's like meditations, it's like ancestral veneration. It's like one song is written to his grandmother. Like all of the songs are like straight up Ifa or Kemetic spiritual like meditations, but all of them are done to earth, wind, and fire music. So he took the earth, wind, and fire music and did all of these meditations to earth, wind, and fire music. It's so hard. It's so hard. I gotta find it. I gotta find it. Anyway, the next one that he did is called the Ancestor Shrine. And this song is like teaching you how to set up your ancestor shrine. I wish I could find this album. I wish I could find it. But this is done to the song. Oh, what is the Earth, Wind, and Fire song? Da 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 da. Dun, dun, da, 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 da. And the bass line for that song is so jamming. Woo! My dad was a bass player. I have a weakness for bass. I wish I gotta find it. I just thought about it just now. Or I would have tried to find it. But anyway, this one's called Ancestor Shrine. That is the song that it is written to. Okay. And so y'all don't be laughing at me, all right? I'm gonna try to sing this shit for you, listening to this Earth, Wind, and Fire music in my head. Okay, so he go. First, go get me a table. made of something that's stable. It could be wood. Let's see, made of something that's stable. It could be wood, stone, or what have you, clay or bamboo, long as it's natural. Get a piece of cotton cloth. Make sure it can spread across with a 7-day candle, white, of course, or different hues, depending on what I'm. Depending. Let's see. Or scent, white, of course, or different hues, depending upon on what I'm finna do. Get a plant, cup of water in a bowl, resin, incense, and a rose of charcoal, something that can stand. Let's see, something that can stand the fire. It's gonna hold when the heat get filled. I don't want when the heat gets filled. I don't want it to melt. And every last thing, and the very last picture frame for the deceased who paved the way which I came. Set it in a quiet place facing eat. Set it in a fire. Shoot, set it in a fire. Set it in a quiet place facing east. My ancestor altar is complete. Want to know what I'm doing? Kind of power I'm using. Team, it's yours. I can always get more. Call me the magic man. Call me an African. When it's time to go, when it's time, let's see, when it's time to learn, the teacher, when it's time to learn, the teacher appears. That's why hip hop is here. And then it's like a little, nah, not Ali, Tahir RBG. And then it's like a little bridge. Shoot, it's Ooh, I wish I gotta find this song for y'all because y'all can't even appreciate it until you hear it. It's so good. Okay. Then he say, um, they say when it's time to learn, the teacher appears. That's why hip hop is here because hip hop is the teacher, y'all. See, hip hop is the teacher. Oh, this song is so good. Damn, I gotta find this shit. Mm, 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 mm. This the place where I pray to. This is the place where I pray to the Most High at sunrise, and at the end of the day, offerings of food and libations and incense get burned for meditation. There where I get a this is where I get a clear connection to point me in the right direction. My overall is to obtain perfection. How fast I get there is at my discretion. I read books and write here, perform rituals, ask advice, clear my dome, and brainstorm on things I want to do in the future. It's like a big universal compute. It's like a big universal computer, and the data is my work. And the data is whatever I put in is what I get out. No doubt. All is Amen Ra. The earth is my feet. The head is my sky. Want to know what I'm doing? The kind of power I'm using? T Marat, it's yours. I can always get more. Call me the magic man, hey. Call me an African, hey. And when it's time to learn, the teacher appears. That's why hip hop is here. I'm in. You can say it again, I'm in. You can say it again, I'm in. That's why when it's time to learn, the teacher appears. That's why hip hop is here. I'm in. That is my brother right there. Okay. Anyway, I wanted to read that with y'all. Okay. So now that I'm hyped, you feel me? I'm hyped. And those two things I wanted to read you. What did he say? What did he say? What did he say? Those were so poignant. It was so relevant. And I didn't even plan on it until I sat the hell down. What did he say? He said, first of all, I come forth triumphantly against my enemies, baby. That's what he said. That's how the meditation starts. I come forth triumphantly against my enemies. I travel across the earth on the heels of my enemy. I ain't retreating. I'm pursuing. You feel me? I'm advancing. I'm making them work. You feel me? He said, I travel across the earth on the heels of my enemy. He said, I cause the glorious and great ones to come to me. What y'all think this conspiracy is about? What y'all think this conspiracy is about? Y'all think it's just some cute shit to sound good? Man, this meditation came on my spirit literally as I sat down. He said, I cause the glorious. I cause it. I cause it. I cause the glorious and great ones to come to me. For I am equipped with the words of power. You hear me? He said, and I am given that which endures in the midst of things which are overthrown. What is the midst of things that are overthrown? Stand back from my path, for I am one with God. Coming forth across the horizons against my enemies, who shall not be rescued from me. My enemies shall not be rescued from me, child. Listen, this is what they earned. This is what they earned. This the hand they dealt. This is justice. This is what they earned. This is what they earned. You understand? Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. My enemies shall not escape from me. Indeed, they shall fall before me. Yes. This is the basis for today's little lesson. My enemies shall not escape me. Indeed, they shall fall before me. He has been given to me, my enemy. He has been given to me, my enemy. He has been given to me, my enemy. He has been given to me and shall not be rescued, baby. Listen, he has been given to me and he shall not be rescued. What? You understand? I stand up as Heru, beloved son and avenger of his father. But we gonna change that. We gonna say we stand up as the divine she. You understand? Beloved children and avengers of the mother. This is what we gonna. This is how we gonna say that shit. You feel me? We stand up. We stand up as the she. We all do. Male, female, all the genders in between. We are she. Mommy and I are one. We stand up as she, the beloved children and avenger of the divine mother. Yes, we do that. We sit down. We sit down as she, goddess who laid the foundation of the universe. Yes, we do that. Yup. We have grown as strong as the divine she, as mommy, wisdom exalted. I have become as powerful as the divine she. She as the perfecter. Yep. Yes, we about to rewrite this whole thing. I walk with my own feet and speak with my own mouth. I pursue my enemies. I pursue my enemies. He is given to me. My enemy is given to me. I pursue my enemies. He is given to me, and he shall not be rescued from me. I have entered as a falcon and come forth as a phoenix. Morning star, make way for me so that I may adore mommy in the beautiful paradise of the West. Baby, what did he say over here? He said, I get a plant, a cup of water in a bowl, resin, incense, a rose and charcoal, something that can stand the heat when it's going to hold when the heat gets felt. I don't want it to melt. And the very last thing is a picture frame for the deceased who paved the way which I came. Set it in a quiet place, facing east. My ancestor altar is complete. You want to know what I'm doing? Kind of power I'm using? Feed Marat, it's yours. You can always get more. Call me the magic man. Hey, call me an African. Hey, when it's time to learn, the teacher appears. That's why hip hop is here. Baby. Ooh, that's got me on one today. That's got me on one today. Okay. All right. I'm done clowning. All right. So let me tell you while we up in here. Because if you know, let's see, taking notes tonight because me and my comments can't afford. I don't agree with that. Yo, listen. It ain't about listen. Don't be getting your feelings hurt about nothing I say up in here. It's all love, okay? It's all love. One. Two, I understand the spirit and the energy from the places that y'all come. This we all learning up in here, okay? This is a real live living learning experience that we up on. And today I got good news for y'all. I started the other night and I was so exhausted, babe. I could barely keep my eyes open. I was like, what the hell is wrong with me? I was so tired. And all last week I had been so tired, right? Just like barely able to move. And then I realized that I think I was like forcing myself against myself. You feel me? Like that last week, I had not really internalized that it was a preparatory stage. It was like the needed rest and relaxation for what is to come. Okay. And today is the first day that I'm feeling like totally energized. Last night, yesterday, I slept most of the day yesterday. And then I got up for good at, I guess at around 8 o'clock. And I was, baby, when I say wide open, I was wide open till like 4 o'clock this morning. Like just in it, just like in it, right? So much shit has happened in the last 48 hours, both in the world and in my personal life. And it's hot as Hades up in this joint. Hold on just a second. And it's like I can't even keep up. I'll be honest, I can't even keep up with how much shit is happening in the world. Okay. It's like I can't even keep up. So let me tell you what the reason I had to title this thing "Why You Lying" is because even though the news is good, it's like they lying. They lying, they lying, they lying, they lying, they lying. And they got to lie because the shit is flimsy. This shit is so flimsy that now everybody can see through it. So that's it. That's all they can rely on now is to just tell bold-faced lies and hope that the majority of the people who see the bold-faced lies will believe the bold-faced lies. So we have to be teaching people regularly how to see through bold-faced lies. You feel what I'm saying? Let me tell you about this good-ass news. So the first day, this was on, today is what? Today's Wednesday or Thursday? Today's Thursday. So what was it? Monday or Sunday? It was either, I think it was Monday. Monday, you feel me? Um, there was another Luigi that was pulled in goddamn Manhattan. That seemed to me, first of all this shit is flimsy. All the shit is flimsy. Okay. How Luigi pulled a goddamn jack move. The jack move that he pulled right before the new year. What was it, December? How in broad daylight, at the very busy time, like right as people walking into work, like 9 o'clock in the morning in Manhattan, you just about to roll up on somebody in broad daylight and ghost the bitch. You feel me? Just like bam, 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 Wild West style, like straight up old school Wild West. We probably need to be studying the Wild West right now. We probably need to be going back to our old Bonanza movies and shit to see how they did shit back in them days. Because this shit is like, the shit that we is seeing right now is like, and they can't keep up. They can't, like the genie out the bottle, and they bleeding out right now. You feel me? So Luigi pulled his jack move, and of course the Negro mayor of New York, his pathetic self. And you cannot tell me, you can't tell me they don't do this shit on purpose. Every time you turn around, they put in some spineless jellyfish, grotesque mutant version of a Negro adjacent person in some position of power. And then the next thing they want to do is parade them on Front Street as the evidence of Negro incompetence. That is deliberate. I don't care. Because this dude that is the Negro mayor of New York, y'all, is the most spineless, disgusting. Remember the character on Fat Albert, the cartoon? What did they call Mushmouth? Is that what they call it? That's what every time I see this clown, that's all I am reminded of. And at least Mushmouth has some common sense, though. At least Mushmouth, you couldn't understand nothing he was saying, but at least he has some common sense. You feel me? This Negro, and so every opportunity that he gets to do some kind of weirdo perp walk, you feel me? Ugh, he's just so gross. And it's no different than this Negress they done propped up, that the Democratic Party put all of their money behind. There were 13 people that ran for the mayor of Los Angeles a couple of years ago. 13. All of them but 2 were Democrats. All of them but 2 were Democrats. And the Democrats threw all their weight and all their funding behind this woman. What's her name? Karen Bass. They put all their money, all these giant ass billboards strewn all over the city. Oh, this is our sweetheart, darling, and this and that and this and that. Baby, even that what you call it? They had 2 billionaires running, Democrats, several millionaires running, Democrats. But baby, they was like, this the golden child right here. We need this Negro. We need this Negro. And because we don't study, because we think black is always right, because we have not come to understand the history, the tendency of what is called neocolonialism, white power and black face, white power and brown face, white power in a vagina, white power in a trans body. What, it exists everywhere. It exists everywhere. It's like, look, if we can't do it as white people, that's all right. We got a Negro, a Negress. We got somebody with dreads in their hair. We got somebody that's trans, man. Strategic whenever he's spineless, groveling, disgusting, pathetic excuses for leadership propped up in Negro adjacent bodies. You understand? When that Negro, everybody said it. After Luigi pulled his gangster move, you feel me? After Luigi pulled his gangster move and the Negro wanted to do a perp walk, it's gonna make me look good. You feel me? This image gonna make me look good. And so they had little Luigi. You feel me? How old is he? 25, 26, something like that. Had little Luigi in his little orange outfit with the little chains on his hands and feet, and all these big old burly men walking his little old self down the thing. And then the Negro mayor, he makes sure he got a, what is it, like one of them freaking walk. he want to do a perp walk with Luigi, and they was like, he should have did that. All the media, everybody on social media was like, he should have sat that one out. That just made him look real bad. That wasn't a good look for him. It wasn't a good look for him. So anyway, not going off on Luigi that much, but anyway, so come Monday, this dude, what's his name? Hold on. What's this dude's name? Shane Devon Tamura, 27 years old, decide he want to go and he want to try his hand at a jack move too. So he go to New York, Manhattan, middle of the day, busy as all hell. He literally walking down the side. They got all these pictures from all these angles with this dude with an AR-15 in the shit. It looked like it's gold. Where he get a gold AR-15 from, y'all? Where he gonna go? That's what it looked like to me. The shit looked like a gold, like one of them, like a gold, like some shit somebody would create for a rap video for a motherfucker to look hard. You feel me? Like he got a gold AR-15 or whatever. And he just walking down the sidewalk in the middle of the day. And you just walking and you see people around him. Ain't nobody. And he a Negro too. It ain't even like this was a well-dressed white boy or nothing. Like at least Luigi was like white enough, because he was Italian, so he was a dark-skinned white person, you feel me? But at least he was white enough that people could be stunned. You know what I'm saying? Like people didn't look at him suspiciously because he just a white boy walking in Manhattan until he rolled up on the dude and did his thing. But this Negro got a gold ass AR-15 walking down the streets of Manhattan in the middle of the day, in the middle of rush. And they say it was methodic. He was like, doo-dee-doo-dee-doo, dead, doo-dee-doo-dee-doo, dead, doo-dee-doo-dee-doo, dead, doo-dee-doo-dee-doo, dead. And then that's it. He just walking through, like, how you get off 4 shots? He got off more shots than that because there were several people that were injured. 4 of them did not make it. You feel me? And so when I first heard the story, I was going to talk to you 2 days ago, but I've been tired and the study thing is like really weighing on me. You feel me? Because it's just so much that's happening that that I feel like is important. I still haven't finished talking to y'all about this damn Esther project thing that I have to talk to y'all about. You feel me? But anyway, let me talk about the headlines for today. Okay. So listen, this dude gonna walk up in there, and they say that the reason he didn't make it to where he was trying to make it, which apparently was they said he was trying to get to the NFL headquarters, you feel me? And he did not make it because he took the wrong elevator. Every single word out of every single commentator's mouth was just suspect. Just blatantly suspect. Like, how, huh? Wait, what? What y'all said? He went up in there for the NBA. Was he in the NFL? No. Did he play football? Not since high school. This nigga 27. What he? Huh? So one day he just decided. But let me tell you what had happened. This dude, Shane Devon Tamara, age 27, who lives in Las Vegas. Guess what they didn't say right at the height of the thing? In the industry, like on the strip, you feel me, at one of these casinos or something. He was working as a security guard, living in Las Vegas. That his father, he was born and raised in Southern California, and his father, he was living with his father after his father retired, moved to Vegas. He moved in with his daddy. His daddy was retired LAPD, bitch. His father is retired LAPD. Okay? Yup. 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 LAPD. That ain't even best of it. So I'm sitting here watching all the videos. So the very first video I see is the like, it's like a memorial. The next day, like, they ain't waste no time. Tuesday was the memorial for the cop that was killed. Okay, the cop that was killed. I'm like, what kind of flag is that they have on his body? They put a flag over his body. Oh, as a matter of fact, it was the same day. This is so weird. As they're taking the cop's body out of the place, y'all, they putting his body up into the ambulance. Y'all gonna have to get over my colloquialisms tonight, because I'm telling y'all, I'm on one. The ambulance. Okay. Because this shit is flimsy. It deserves me talking in my ghetto colloquialism. Because I'm sitting here watching this shit. Now, I said, I know good goddamn well they ain't playing in our face like this. This dude get killed. Okay? They were taking, these cops is taking his body from the location to the ambulance. You feel me? I said, what's that flag? They got him covered in a flag as they taking him out the building. I was like, why they do that? Why they got a flag? And what's that flag? Where that flag from? Well, I don't know that flag. Child, did y'all see this video? They have got the day of where they just get this flag from. Do you know what the flag was? First of all, it was so bizarre to me. This dude is a cop. You feel me? In the height of this United States of America that is targeting every single solitary somebody who they may possibly, maybe, perhaps think might maybe be an immigrant of some sort or immigrant adjacent, and they gonna walk this cop's body out of the building in a Bangladeshi flag. Child, they had a Bangladeshi flag draped over his body. Where you know they do that at? Where you know they do that at? I'm sitting here trying to figure out why they got a green flag on this dude's body. It's green with some like other colors on it and some white. I was like, what is this flag? Like, I ain't never seen no, I don't give a fuck where nobody at. As long as your ass is American, quote, in America, you American, and it's gonna be an American flag. Where you seen them do that at? They had this dude's body draped in a Bangladeshi flag. Hey y'all, I know I be seeing shit real deep. You feel me? I get it. I might be just the regular ass, regular everyday conspiracy theories, but I see everything. First of all, I ain't never seen no shit like that. Where they get that flag from that fast? First of all, where they get that flag from that fast? Okay. Second of all, remember the first week of the new year. Remember I think it was like 2 days into the new year. Y'all remember what happened? Anybody remember what happened that was gripping the news, gripping every outlet of the news? It was like the second or the third. Anybody remember what happened? The second or third day into the new year? Anybody? And it was everywhere. That's all everybody was talking about. Anybody remember? Anybody remember? It was like, damn, we can't even catch a break. It's just the New Year, bitch. Can we catch a break? That happened but on the same day, it was something else. Cardi Crown say the attempted explosion in Las Vegas. Yep. But what else happened on the same day? What else happened on the same day? Bigger than the explosion, the attempted explosion. What else happened on the same day? What else happened on the same day? Anybody remember? New Orleans honey dip chocolate. Tell us what happened in New Orleans on the same day. Somebody remember? Anybody remember? Anybody remember? A Negro, supposedly Muslim, in a white pickup truck, just like the white pickup truck in Las Vegas that was supposed to be loaded with explosives. A white pickup truck in a Negro who wasn't even from New Orleans, who drove there from Texas to mow down, what was it, 6 people he killed driving on the sidewalk? Anybody remember that? I was like, damn, ain't it real convenient that they found a Negro Muslim? I said, where they just picked him up from, where they just got him from, where he just materialized from out of nowhere. Even his people, them like, that don't sound like him at all. Like, what the fuck? Remember that? And so today they still talking about what happened on Monday with this Negro sharpshooter, this Negro with a grudge, because according to the common line, that he felt like he was probably the victim of CTE. What is it called? I forget the extended name, but it's that thing that the football players be getting from chronic blunt force trauma and shit. And he feel like he got CTE. Child, in the letter that they done found. In the letter that they say they found on this dude, y'all. He done gave passwords to his laptop so that people can see that that's what he was researching is CTE, child. Huh? This boy was 27. This boy was 27. And the letter say, I think I got CTE and I am just mad because the NFL ain't did enough to study this thing and people are still victimized by, bitch, your ass been out of high school for 10 years, a decade. You've been out of high school. And one day you just woke up with a grudge talking about you about to go get your shots off on the NFL at the NFL headquarters because you think you might have CTE and you gonna write a letter that they gonna find on your body because they can't say manifesto no more. Because how the fuck everybody that do some crazy shit just have the time to draft out a manifesto? Ugh, why they keep doing that? So they don't say it's a manifesto. That he wrote out a very long and detailed letter about how he think he is, and then the end of the letter say, "Please study my brain." Well, the only way that they can give a formal diagnosis of CTE is through autopsy. They cannot understand if you have CTE until you dead. And in the letter, it say this, and 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 this. Here's the words to my laptop in my phone so you can see this is what I have been studying. This is what I have been researching. I'm not lying. I'm not even exaggerating. That's what the letter said. I'm gonna give y'all the passwords to my phone and my laptop so you can see in my history. This is what I have been researching to come to this conclusion that led me here today with a goddamn goal as AR-15 or AK-47 or whatever the hell he had, because I need to go get my angst on. What? This dude got nappy ass hair like mine, just pimp walking down the street in the middle of the day. Okay. So the officer is a Muslim. Not only is he a Muslim, y'all, his brother, who they done got a long dissertation from, all these interviews from brother, his brother is an imam in the local Bangladeshi mosque in wherever the hell he from. Everybody singing his praises. Child, do you want to know what the cop name was? I said you can't make up this shit. Do y'all want me to tell y'all what the cop name was? The Bangladeshi Muslim cop name was? As soon as I saw his name, I was like, please, y'all stop playing in our face. Just please stop playing in our face, y'all. The cop's name was Didwal Islam. His last name Islam. Officer Didwal Islam. Didwal Islam. Mm-hmm. His brother's name is Muhammad Manul Islam. Mm-hmm. They live in the Bronx. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I said, why y'all play too motherfucking much? This shit ain't cute. Why y'all do that? They kept saying on the news, Officer Islam, Officer Islam. I was like, what are they doing? What are they doing? They kept saying, Officer Islam, Officer Islam, Officer Islam, like a goddamn mantra, like a mantra, like a mantra. Okay. Then the one that they've been talking about the most is the white woman. Now, what they didn't spend too much time talking about, they talked a lot about the NFL, the NFL, the NFL, the NFL. He was mad because the NFL, this shit didn't even make no sense to me, first of all, at all. 0% sense. Then they say, and by the way, they wouldn't even show the face of there was another woman that was killed. All you see is like a little, what you call it, like a little like a silhouette picture, one of them silhouette pictures. They refuse to show her face, but you see everybody face, pictures of them, right? And so one of the women that lost her life that day, let's talk about her. Because you know how they do, the same way they did when Luigi decided on who his target was gonna be, right? This girl, Wesley Le Partner, 44 years old, is the Blackstone CEO. I said, y'all really gonna play in our face, make us believe that the reason that this boy took his life in this last hoorah on earth, at 27 years old, that the last thing he gonna do on this planet is to go target the NFL, and y'all treat like it's just kind of like a side note, like a footnote, that this was the international headquarters of Blackstone. And that not only is it the headquarters of Blackstone, but that somebody just happened to be the one who just caught wildfires because he was just in there blazing out of control, was the CEO of Blackstone. Not only the CEO, guess what her job was? I couldn't find what she made. I couldn't find what her salary is, but I know it's gargantuan, because guess what she do? She is the CEO. Her official what is her official title? She is the Chief Executive Officer of Blackstone Real Estate Income Trust, otherwise known as BREIT, BREIT. Okay, this part of the company, the real estate investment fund of Blackstone, she managed $53 billion assets, $53 billion assets. But that ain't even all, because the company itself is worth $1.1 trillion. Blackstone Company is the world's largest in the whole planet, on the whole earth. In the whole earth, right? It is the largest alternative asset manager with global assets at $1.1 trillion. Okay. So I was like, well, who is Blackstone? Because I heard of BlackRock, but I wasn't really familiar with Blackstone, because I talked about BlackRock a lot on here, right? Blackstone was a spinoff of BlackRock. That when BlackRock was created, there was like a split in the company, and so two guys left Blackstone to create their own thing. BlackRock. And two guys split off from BlackRock to create their own thing, which is called Blackstone. They the same. they basically the same. You feel me? Then somebody just said, I need to write this down. Somebody said that she made $6,000 a minute. Let me write this down, because I was gonna do a long deep dive on this. I was like, no, I ain't gonna do that, because I don't want to, but I know it's something that's gonna come up later. So this trick made $6,000 a minute. Now the dude supposedly girl, I can't even imagine what your apartment looked like, Java Wise, and your ass stay throwing furniture. But anyway, so the dude, you feel me? He walk up in there. Now, there are some people that are saying a couple of things. I saw several videos over the last 24 hours of people saying, like this one guy who is supposedly like a like a like an AI specialist, right? Like he specializes in being able to identify images and videos that's AI. And so several people have been saying that the quote security cam footage that the stills have been taken from is AI generated, right? That picture is not the actual picture of the dude or whatever. You feel me? And then the other thing that I have been hearing is about okay, so that's just what happened on Monday. That's this dude. He go up in there busting shots, and 4 people take shots that end their life. All right. There's a security guard, a black security guard, uh, Officer Islam, Bangladeshi police officer, the CEO of the world's largest investment company on earth, and then this faceless person who they refuse to show a single picture of her. I find that suspect as hell. We ain't seen a picture of her yet, just a silhouette. I ain't seen a picture of her yet. You feel me? Okay. Now, yesterday, apparently, this is 24 hours after this thing happened, this thing go down. Yep, apparently, what's this dude name? Hold on. Because I just learned about it today. I don't even remember. I didn't even write the guy's name down that did it. But this dude, Lee Vogler, who is a city councilman in and it's interesting. He's a city councilman. He's a city councilman in Vegas, but they say he lives in Virginia, which is weird to me. Anyway, this dude, Lee Vogler, somebody I gotta figure out. Maybe one of y'all can research it while I'm up on here. But this guy Lee Vogler, who is a city councilman, who has these relationships to these big corporations, and on his position as city council, he voted down. No, what they said is he scrapped all low income housing in Las Vegas. He scrapped all low income housing in Las Vegas. And I don't know if y'all know about the economy in Vegas, but it is really, really terrible. The economy in Vegas is really bad. It's really, the poverty in Las Vegas, child, is palpable. It is palpable. I'm like, the first time I went to Vegas, y'all, I was like, oh, I mean, it's shocking how obvious, how evident, and like, listen. And so this dude, as the city councilman, scraps all low income housing and then voted to privatize the 2 major hospitals in Las Vegas. So this too is going to have a trickle down effect in terms of how people are going to be able to access emergency care, hospital care, extended care, anything like that. He voted to privatize both the 2 main hospitals in Vegas and to scrap all low income housing in Vegas, when the average income of a worker in Vegas is $30,000 a year. $30,000 a year. Okay. And so apparently there are some people who have these suspicions that this why the because this is so these 2 events are both based on social circumstances in Las Vegas, but the 2 people who are identified and targeted ain't even in Vegas. How you can be a city councilman for a city you don't fucking live in, first of all? So the dude, Lee Vogler, yesterday, somebody meets him in some public space, douses him, and sets his ass ablaze, set his ass on fire in broad daylight, out in the open, set his ass on and set his ass on fire. That happened yesterday. I said, what the fuck? Yes, that happened yesterday. And then come to find out that he apparently the 2 decisions that he made is because he has relationships to the Bill Ackman hedge fund, The Bill Aikman, and they saying, so the news broadcasters, like a mantra, right out the gate, without knowing nothing about neither one of these dudes significantly, came out the gate saying it doesn't that this murder is politically related. It appears that it is motivated by something personal, that it is not motivated by anything political. Over and over and over again, all day yesterday. It's not motivated by anything political. It appears to be motivated by something personal, but don't nobody say what the personal is. Did you have sex with this dude's girlfriend? Like, did you cheat on your wife? Like, is this dude a hitman? Your wife done found out you've been dirty, and so she say, look, no, they don't say, but they keep saying, we know it's not political though. We know it's not political though. We know that. We do know that. We know that. All day yesterday, I said they are stressing. They stressing. 2 days, y'all. 2 days. One in New York and one in Virginia. And all of it is surrounding Vegas. Isn't that fascinating? The 2 cases, not related at all, but centered in Vegas. Isn't that something? So I got to do a little bit more research on these things, but baby, this so the girl, that ain't the only thing she do. Yeah, that's her big job, is as the CEO of Blackstone. But guess what else? She serves on several other boards from several other corporations. Listen, the other board she serves on is the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Isn't that the art that does the Met Gala? Isn't that the museum that does the Met Gala? The Metropolitan Museum of Art. Isn't that the same? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. The Metropolitan Museum of Art. Isn't that the same museum that sponsors the Met Gala every year? Am I wrong? Can somebody search that real quick? So she serves on the board of the Metropolitan Museum of Art. She serves also on the board of the Abraham Josiah Heschel School. She serves on, I didn't research it, I meant to, on the UJA Federation of New York. And she also, that's what I thought. Thank you, Claudia Ancra. That's what I thought. And then she also serves on the board of Blackwell. Blackwell, of a company called Blackwell, as their global head of core plus real estate. So Blackwell Blackstone, who is tied to BlackRock, you feel me, boasting $6,000 a minute, you feel me. Those are all the boards she served on, you feel me. And then this weird thing with Officer Islam and his imam brother, and he ain't child, and they walk his ass out covered in a Bangladeshi flag. Where y'all just get that from? where that just material? Since where they do that at? In the United States, as rabid as it is, as white nationalist as it is, where they do that at? Anyway, so I thought I would share that little bit. I'm gonna probably dig a little deeper into that, but I was like, come on in with this crazy ass news. I'm here for all the crazy ass news, because every time I see stuff like this, I am just more and more convinced. More and more convinced, more and more certain that what y'all doing is showing y'all hand. Y'all showing y'all hand. Y'all showing y'all hand. Don't feel overwhelmed. I know it's easier said than done, because I've been up in here subdued a little bit, but it's because I got so much to do and I'm so behind. But if anything, let these kind of things be good news, because they showing their hands, and the hand they've been dealt, the hand they trying to play is flimsy. It's flimsy, and so they trying to what you call it? They trying to what's the word? It's called I can't use the word. Fuck it. Whatever. Anyway, so you take it how you take it. But today, that was good news to me. You feel me? I'm gonna tell you something else. I did this live. As a matter of fact, when the week, so it was like December-ish when I did this live. Go back and watch it, because I said something, I forget the main thing, but let me tell y'all something. Y'all don't, this this politic, this what y'all call that bullshit, goddamn, what y'all call that bullshit, um pacifism. Yeah, this pacifism, this ideology of pacifism. I'm a pacifist. Peace at all costs. While you getting cracked over the skull. All of that mess. This super liberal, or whether it's spiritual, like we just have to think good thoughts and shit. I be concerned about y'all, because it literally in real time, and I was talking about it during the Luigi thing, because I was hearing all these black people talking about, it's so unfortunate because that man had a family. It's so unfortunate because that man had kids. That man got a wife. You feel me? It's so sad. When I tell you I cannot roll my eyes hard enough at that madness, I cannot roll my eyes hard enough. You feel me? I can't. I can't roll my eyes hard enough. Your ass can barely secure the life of your children. Your ass can't even guarantee your babies a future on what is happening in the world, on the myriad of ways that they have legalized robbing you blind. Child, legalized, fashioned laws around your life to make the perpetual stealing from you and exhausting of your labor to their benefit legal. That even as there are more and more and more and more and more and more people being told that they do not have to pay no taxes and they make $6,000 a minute, but the tax burden in this country is met by the poorest people on this continent. Not only that, I was thinking about it yesterday when I was running this campaign for this woman who called herself wanting to run for mayor. And I said to her, well, what we need to do, one of the things that we need to do is we need to start setting up outreach booths in places like Skid Row. She was like, why? I said, what do you mean, why? She was like, well, you can't vote if you don't have an address. I was like, and? She was like, I don't understand. I said, of course you wouldn't. Of course you wouldn't understand. I said, why would I say that it is, to me, it's like common sense. Why would you set up an outreach booth in a place that is defined by the absolute most horrific display of concentrated homelessness in the city of Los Angeles? Yeah, because they can't vote. So what? They don't deserve a voice? They don't deserve power? They don't deserve to be represented? She's like, Cassandra, I'm not trying to be daft. I really don't understand. I said, in the city of Los Angeles, there is an 11.5, almost 12% sales tax on everything. 11.5% sales tax on everything up in this bitch. There are 65,000 goddamn homeless people in the city of Los Angeles, whether they're street homeless or car homeless. Here is just a magnificent example of exploitation, where everybody that has a position in the city, everybody that holds a position of power in the city, doesn't even child, they treat the homeless like they doing the homeless a fucking favor up in this bitch. I would be interested to know. It's something I need to find out if there's even any research on. Let me write this down so I don't forget. So here, and do you know, at least the last time I looked, 63% of the 65,000 homeless people in this city, 63% of them have jobs. You heard what I said. 63% of the homeless people in this fucking city have jobs. They work. You hear me? There is an 11.5% in sales tax in this city. So here, these people, they got to buy everything day to day because they don't have no place to live. You think it's just food? Because they don't tax food. They don't tax groceries in LA. But they tax everything else. Tampons. Homeless people need that. Hair products. Homeless people need that. Clothes. Homeless people need that. Cigarettes. Homeless people need that. Herb. Homeless people need that. Medications. Homeless people need that. Here they are spending money every day. For those who are mobily homeless, meaning they in their cars or they're in an RV and they working, they have to buy clean clothes. They have to do their laundry. They got the same needs that the rest of us got who got roofs over our heads. They just don't have a roof over their head. I'm interested to know how many billions of dollars are generated just by homeless people. Understand? And so here, this woman who proclaimed that she had been doing work with the homeless for 7 years. For 7 years, you've been doing with the homeless, but it doesn't occur to you that this can be a base of support for you. This can be a base of support for you. I was like, not that we would be asking homeless people for money. I said, but we would still so that people can make donations. Why? She was like, I wouldn't do that. I said, bitch, why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you do that? If the homeless need representation that apparently they do not deserve in this city because they don't have an address, don't you think that people would drop pennies, people would drop dollars, people would drop money? Yes, even the homeless, if they saw a single avenue that would finally give them something that resembled power in this city, and they say, look, all I got is $2 in my pocket, but I want to give one of those dollars because I believe what you say in terms of representing my interest in the city. But you see everything that happens for homeless people is goddamn charity. Homeless people don't need your motherfucking charity, bitch. Homeless people in this country do not need charity. They need power. They need to see in the way the system is set up, the opportunity for their voice to be heard through the instruments of power. That's it. And so she's like, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't ask homeless people for money. I said, and that's why homeless people would not be giving you power. They have power to yield. And the state knows that whether you know it or not. They have power to yield. I'm going to have to find out how many billions of dollars are generated in tax money because we pay 11.5% sales tax in this monstrous city. How much money is being generated by the unrepresented in this goddamn city? You understand what I'm saying? Anyway, I don't even know how I got on it. But you understand? I love seeing news like this. I love seeing news like this because we're gonna have to stop. We're gonna have to stop with this madness of praying for our enemies. That's what has us in this mess in the first place. That's what has us in this mess in the first place. In this mess in the first place. Using our goddamn valuable ashe, using our goddamn priceless pranayama, using the valuable energy that emanates from our goddamn heart chakra to speak life to our enemies. That's what has us in this. It goes to tell you that if you read in a book like this that tells you to turn the other cheek and to pray for your enemies, and that you are doing just what the good book say, this shit probably would have been over had you not taken that shit so personally. Pray for your enemies. Here you are praying to the same Jesus, praying to the same God. You hear me? Y'all praying to the same God, and your ass got a rope around your neck and a stool under your feet with the rope strung over a branch. And the same you praying for, please, Lord, please, Jesus, get me up out of this. The same Jesus you praying to with a rope around your neck is the same Jesus person who has the end of the rope in his hand or tied to the end of his horse and has got his foot on the stool about to kick it the fuck up from under you. Y'all praying to the same God. And you can't figure out. You can't figure out why the world look the way it look. You can't figure out. You can't figure out why the world look the way it look. You feel me? I'm gonna tell y'all something that happened yesterday. Let me tell you what happened yesterday. Yesterday, I went to go get some grapefruit juice. You feel me? And the store that I went to is right off of Hollywood Boulevard. So instead of just going straight to the store, I was like, I've been sitting up in here doing what I'm doing, making jewelry. Let me take a scenic route. Let me go ahead and circle the block before I go into the store, so at least I can move my blood a little bit before I go back home and sit back on this couch to finish making this jewelry. Take my phone. That's why I can't show y'all a picture of it. But yesterday, I went on Hollywood Boulevard. And there was on this corner of Hollywood Boulevard and Vine, there's this corner where they always do like really, really elaborate movie promos, like propish, big, elaborate movie promos. They'll have like a whole long, like almost a block long, no, about a half a block long, like, temporary mural, or they'll have like big ass props. And so I'm looking at this prop because apparently, I think it's in August, mid-August, the next installment of the Alien series, the Alien, franchise is happening, right? And it's called To Earth or From Earth or something like that, but it's Alien. It's the movie Alien, and then it's got like whatever the subheader is, whatever. The prop I'm gonna on my YouTube tomorrow, because first of all, the promo is crazy elaborate. Like you can hear it because it's got like this whole sound system set up on it and everything. You can hear it from at least a block away. It's like loud, and it's covering a whole, so it's on the corner, like the face of it is on the corner, and it goes down both directions like that, right? And there's this big kind of metal door looking thing, and on top of the metal door is this giant ass like sculptured alien crawling over the door. I was like, damn, like this big, giant alien crouching over the door. And then the thing is going two directions, and the alien is on the corner. You feel me? And then when you go down a few feet down from the main part of the prop is another big giant metal door looking thing that looks like it's got like an alien moving in it. You feel me? And then you go down and there's another door thing, and it looked like it's got an alien thing in it, right? I don't know if y'all remember, but a few months ago, maybe 7-8 months ago, maybe before the new year, I was telling y'all that I was in a bar, and these two dudes came in and they were crazy hype, and they sat down at the bar beside me, and I was like, why y'all so hype? Because they came in like hype. They were like, oh, we just got back from the movies. We just saw Alien. So last year already, there was an Alien movie, and it was called, and I told y'all, I was like, damn, I don't watch horror movies, but I may have to go see this movie just because of the title for it. So it was an Alien movie, but the name of this Alien movie was called Romulus. I was like, why they call that shit Romulus? I was like, damn, am I gonna have to see this bullshit? I don't want to see no alien movie. But I know there's something there, because the average person don't know who the hell Romulus is. So I'm like, they did that on purpose. There's some hidden message in the joint, and I got to go see this bullshitting ass bullshit that I don't want to go see because I know there's something hidden in it. So these two dudes, so I'd already been seeing the billboards all over the city. These two dudes come into the bar. They hella hype. Oh my God, it was so good. Da, 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 da. I said, really? Was it good? They were like, yeah, it was great. I said, you talking about the one called Romulus, right? They was like, yeah, that shit was great. I was like, why they call it Romulus? I said, what happened in it? They was like, what you mean? I said, do y'all know who Romulus is? And they was like, nah. I said, the story of Romulus and Remus. They was like, oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. It didn't even occur to them. They knew when I said Romulus and Remus who that was. They was like, damn, that didn't even occur to me. I was like, so is there something in it that I need to be abreast of? Like, why is it called Romulus out of nowhere, right? And so they was like, I think you're seeing too much into it. I said, then why is the movie called Romulus? I said, is this the name of a ship or something? Like, why did just out of nowhere they just called the movie Romulus, right? And they didn't have an answer. I said, I'm gonna have to go see this bullshit. I said, I do movie review on my channel. They were like, oh damn. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to go up in there because I guarantee you, I am 99.9% sure that there is some hidden message in there about why this movie is called Romulus. They was like, I don't think so, but like text us and let us know when you do the live because I'm interested in seeing it. And if what you say have some merit, he said, we both work in the industry. We can put your ass on. I was like, all right, let's go. Of course I didn't do it. And of course I didn't go see it, but now I have to revisit the shit because of this goddamn promo that I just saw yesterday for this next movie, which is called To Earth or From Earth or Of Earth or some shit. Baby, let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you what happened yesterday when I saw this bullshit, this elaborate prop in the middle of Hollywood and Vine for the next Alien movie. And they had to spend scores of thousands of dollars on this goddamn prop. This shit was amazing. The prop, the sound effects. I saw this Asian guy and it's in front of me, and the thing went boosh because it sounds like mechanical, like they're in a factory or something. This thing went boosh right as he walked by the door. He was like, the man almost fell walking past the door when the door made the goddamn noise. That shit tickled me so bad. But let me tell you, I gotta take pictures of it because y'all aren't gonna believe this. When I tell you they be in your face, they be playing in your face, child. I walk past these metallic, futuristic doors that look like little aliens are moving behind these doors, right? And so I'm looking around because I'm like, you know what? I as soon as I saw that prop yesterday, I remembered this discussion with these two boys about the movie Romulus from a year ago. So I'm sitting there in the middle of the day. Okay. So I'm looking. I'm like walking around sides, looking at the little door things. I'm trying to see some mother in this prop. And baby, y'all will not believe what I saw. I'm looking. Oh man. Can y'all see me yet? Okay. So I'm looking on these doors. I'm looking around. I was like, I know I'm gonna see something. I know I'm gonna see something. Guess what I see? These big, elaborate metallic doors. You know how you'll see doors in movies where they're doing like cloning and stuff, and the doors will be all kind of like clear but misty, so you can't see through them, but you can see movement and silhouettes. That's what the doors look like, right? And on these ultra futuristic big old metal like cryo like movies where you see movies about like cryo sleep or cryogenics and stuff where motherfucker been asleep for 1,000 years and then they wake back up, like think about that, like big elaborate metal things with like these misty looking doors that you can only see silhouettes in. That's what these doors on this prop down the street look like. And on the top of each door, there'll be like a huge, like a number, like NC doody doody do, whatever, 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 right? And underneath the writing, about this big, I'm gonna go take pictures of it tomorrow just for this. About this big is, do you know the Kemetic symbol? The hold on, I might be able to even show it to you. Let's see. Let's see. Let me see if I can find it in here. I got so many books on Egypt that I think I moved them around to make room. Let's see. This book is so gorgeous too. It better be the only picture they don't have up in here. That, you know, that might be close. That might be close. Yeah, that might have to do. Yeah. Okay. So there is a comedic symbol that I don't know like the name of the symbol. I would assume because of the way that it looks, it is supposed to be like an adaptation, like a adaptation or symbolic of the energy of Ma'at, but without her face. So this image is like the wings. You'll see a straight wingspan like this, right? It kind of comes down like that. And instead of it being Ma'at in the center, it'll be what appears to be like the solar disk or the sun god Ra, right? So a solar disk, but then with this wingspan coming out from it, just like this, right? That is what's on the door of this prop about aliens. Okay, that pop out your chest and shit. That incubate in your body, in your heart chakra. Why they come out your chest? They incubate in your heart chakra, and they born out of your chest. You feel me? So anyway, I would imagine you see that picture right there. But usually when you see the picture, the wingspan is just bone straight all the way across. And instead of my aunt being pictured, it's a big old like orange red sun in between this absolutely straight. I'm sure you've seen it, but I can't find a picture of it in this book. There is one more picture that might be like a close here. I don't know. Yeah, this might be a closer adaptation of it, but it's on a sarcophagus. But see, let me see if I can get close enough. So see across, you can see that wing. Oh, you can see that wingspan with the big sun right there. Can y'all see that? Where you see this straight wingspan on the sarcophagus and that big old sun, but usually that sun is like right in the middle. It's the big straight wingspan with the sun right in the middle. That is what's on this prop in West Hollywood for the on metallic doors that's supposed to be some long distance future where aliens come to Earth. I said, why they got this comedic symbol on the door, on the metallic doors from where they incubating aliens in one of the most gruesome horror movies of mankind. You feel me? That happened yesterday. That happened yesterday. So I'm like, I don't want to see this movie. Am I gonna have to see this movie? Am I gonna have to endure this movie and that damn Romulus to see why they keep doing this? Why you got Rome? Why you got Rome and in these movies about aliens taking over the heart chakras of human beings to give birth to themselves? I'm just trying to figure out what it is y'all trying to pull. And they know I told y'all my whole thing about horror movies is I hate horror movies. I don't watch horror movies, but I be seeing every time I be seeing like promos for horror movies, I'm like, damn, am I gonna have to start watching horror movies? Because they know certain people don't watch horror movies. My deep ass self, I will see all the hidden symbolism in the horror movies. You feel me? And be like, oh, now they using people's fear, they using people's fight or flight hormones, they fear hormones to deepen this message. And I'm just saying, I feel like it's something that we actually have to get into. Anyway, let's go. Okay, so I don't remember how I got on that, but I had to tell y'all about this damn promo I saw yesterday that's got the wingspan of my eye on these doors in the promo for this movie. I said, why they do that? What is the significance of that? Anyway, let's move on. Time is okay, an hour and 30 minutes. All right. Oh, I didn't even see you down there, big old head. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about this mess from the other day. This thing, greetings everybody. No snakes coming from it. It's just the wingspan with the solar disc. I'm gonna take a picture of it tomorrow though, and I'll post it tomorrow. So anyway, this thing with the Esther project, and I was so freaking sleepy, I felt zombified the other day. Let's talk about it and like try to wrap this shit up so it can be out of my life and out of my head. So so I read the whole book of Esther the other day, and when I read the book of Esther, this Esther project thing that y'all are all stressing about became much more clear to me because I didn't get it. I like even reading what they were saying, and somebody sent me a message today, I think, saying that the founder of the Heritage Foundation just died on the 21st. I didn't even know that of this year. And so it was the Heritage Foundation that drafted both Project 2025 and the Esther Project. And the dude who is the founder of the Heritage Foundation just passed away a week or so ago, a little over a week ago. I found that interesting, especially as everybody getting their little heart chakras plucked the hell out of around this Esther project. Okay, so Esther. The last thing I left off talking to you guys about was about. I told you I searched the etymology for each of the names. That was the first thing that I did. So the etymology of the word Esther, as one can imagine, in Persian, because it's a Persian name, and the name means star, associated with the goddess Ishtar, right? Her name was originally Hadassah. According to the Hebrew, her name was Hadassah, okay, which means myrtle. And apparently there is a relationship between the plant, the myrtle plant, and the morning and the evening star, Venus, who is also Ishtar. Okay. The Hebrew name Esther, listen to this. So somebody said they was gonna be taking notes. Listen to this. The name Esther means, its etymology means to hide or to conceal, to be hidden or to be concealed. Esther, hidden or concealed. Okay. And then Haman, Haman. Haman is the proverbial bad guy of the story. His name is Persian, and it means illustrious or magnificent. And it is associated with a sacred drink in Persia. Their version of like every place has like, especially in the ancient world, has their like famous drink that they would use in ceremony. So Haman's name is associated with drink. Okay. And Arus Asuris, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Um, Hold on. Hold on. Boy, you're doing a lot down here. Okay. God damn it. Oh, my um see here. Mm. And makes you simple, I swear. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah. Ugh. This shit is so dumb. What the child? All right, that's done. Let's see. All right. I don't know why live streaming. Shit's trash. All right, let's see. What the hell? I keep telling y'all, ever since I changed web browsers, I'm getting this stupid ass. I don't understand. I don't understand why this thing cannot be freaking simple. All I want to do, it won't let me share tabs. I don't know why. Which is dumb to me. Let's see. It doesn't make any sense. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, God damn it. That shit is stupid. I don't know why it's not letting me do it without that weird thing. That's so dumb. But anyway, yeah. I'm not gonna be able to share. I'm not gonna be able to share it. But anyway, she was trying to share the picture of the whatever. I don't know if it's possible to share an image. Probably not in the comment section. Whatever. I'm not trying to prolong the shit. For whatever reason, I might just have to switch back because this browser will not let me do basic shit on YouTube, which is stupid. Anyway, so anyway, Ahasuerus, or however you say his name, who is basically Xerxes the First, who was the king. His name means ruler among kings, ruler over heroes. Queen Vashti, her name means best, excellent, beautiful, and a symbol of she was considered a symbol of independence and defiance. Her name also means dignity, integrity, and moral courage. Isn't that interesting? Because they really say anything about her in the story. Mordecai the etymology of Mordecai, they say, is an adaptation of the name Mardukiah, which is a Babylonian chief god, also known as Marduk or Marduk, which means bitter, crushed, or oppressed. Marduk, also known as Baal, was the bull calf of the sun. His consort, which is Sarponit, is known as the Shining One. And then there was one more main character. His name was Hagi, and that name means keeper of women. Hagi means keeper of women. Okay, so her name is based off the goddess Ishtar, also known as Venus. And even the Hebrew, the rabbi that I saw talking about her, there was a rabbi that I saw talking about. So there is a tradition that has come out of the book of Esther that Hebrew Jews still practice today. This ceremony or this tradition is called Purim, 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 and it is quote considered a what do you call it? A mitzvah, like a bar mitzvah, but it's called a mitzvah, which is a commandment to be kept. Okay, and this particular celebration, Purim, is based specifically off of this story of Esther being a heroine that saved her people from annihilation, right? Okay, story goes, short version of the story. Just to recap, because I talked about this a couple of days ago. So Haman had been elevated to the status of the vizier of the king. The king's wife, who was Queen Vashti, they don't go into any details, but Vashti had been commanded to come to the king, and she was like, nah. And he was like, what you mean, nah? And she said, just what I said, I ain't coming. Now, when I told y'all about the Sunday school teacher, the old white Sunday school teacher who was talking about the story, and how in her Sunday school class, she told the girls in her Sunday school class to be the Vashti. This is what the little white Sunday school teacher was saying. She said the reason why is because there are some historians that say that the reason that Vashti refused to come to Xerxes was because he wanted to exploit her. He wanted to show her off. And so when it says that she was called to come before him with her crown on, she said there are some historians who say that he demanded that she come nude, wearing only her crown. That's what the woman was saying who teaches this in Sunday school. She said there are some historians who say that he wanted to humiliate her, that he had showed off. What did the story say? That he had been imbibing, he had been partying and imbibing and liquoring up the neighboring rulers for 180 days. For 180 days, they had been turned up. And then when they were coming out of the turned up and they were going to feast for 7 days, he commanded that his wife come before him wearing her crown. And so she says he was trying to humiliate her. You want to show off your power. And she's like, I ain't with it. And so there were some stories, even on, like, when I was going to just research the celebration itself, the Purim, I went on 3 different Hebrew websites that were talking about Purim, and the way they tell the story was that Vashti was murdered. When Vashti, now the way the Bible tells it is that she was just demoted. But the way these Hebrews was telling it in terms of the ceremony was that Vashti was killed for her, quote, insolence, for refusing the king. Anyway, regardless, there is kind of like this untold significance for this defiance, this act of defiance, as told right in the outskirt, right at the beginning of the story about Vashti. Okay. Then his the last thing I think I discussed at length was about his response when Vashti was like, "Nah, I ain't coming." How the homies, all the princes and the kings of Persia and Media that he was entertaining, and she said, it says, but Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. Therefore, the king was very wroth, and his anger burned in him. Then the king said to the wise men, which knew the times, for so was the king's manner toward all that knew the law and the judgment. And the next unto him was Carnesha, Shishtar, Admatha, Tarshish, Meres, Mersina, Memucan, the seven princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face, and which sat the first in the kingdom. What shall we do unto Queen Vashti according to the law? Because she has not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by the chamberlains. And Memucan answered before the king and the princes, Vashti the queen hath not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are in all the provinces of King Ahasuerus. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes, and their eyes when it shall be reported. The king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not. And likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes, which have heard of the deed of the queen. Thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath. If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment for him, and let it be written among all the laws of the Persians and the Medes that it not be altered, that Vashti come no more before the king Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she. And when the king's decree, which he shall make, shall be published throughout all his empire, for it is great. All wives shall be to their husband's honor, both to great and to small. And the saying pleased the king and the princes, and the king did according to the word of Memucan. For he sent letters into all the king's provinces, and to every province according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language, to every man should that every man should bear rule in his own house, and that it should be published according to the language of every people. Now, mind you, Xerxes ruled the known world at this time. They say he ruled over 127 kingdoms at this time. And they was like, let every man in every language know that from this day forward, you are the Lord of your home, be you great or small. And don't you let no bitches tell you no. Don't you let no bitches tell you no in your own house, in your own kingdom. You feel me? And so after these things, when the wrath of King Ahasuerus was appeased, he remembered Vashti and what she had done, and what was decreed against her. Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, let there be fair young virgins sought out for the king, and let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather together all the fair young virgins unto Shushan the palace, to the house of the women, unto the custody of Haggai, the keeper of women, the king's chamberlain, keeper of women, and let their things for purification be given them. And let the maiden which pleaseth the king be queen instead of Vashti. And the thing that pleased the king, and the thing pleased the king, and he did so. Now in Shushan the palace there was a certain Jew, whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shimei, the son of Kish, and a Benjamite, who had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captivity, which had been carried away by Jeconiah king of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away. And he brought up Hadassah, that is, Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother, and the maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter. So it came to pass that when the king's commandment and his decree was heard, and when the many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan the palace, to the custody of Haggai, that Esther was brought also unto the king's house to the custody of Haggai, the keeper of women. And the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him, and he speedily gave her things for purification, which such things as belonged to her, and 7 maidens, which were meet to be given her out of the king's house, and he preferred her and her maidens into the best place of the house of the women. Esther had not showed her people nor her kindred, for Mordecai had charged her that she should not show it. So basically, this was saying that that she was observed by the keeper of women of Shushan the palace, and was brought into the palace as one of the women, one of the quote virgin maidens that was brought into the palace to meet the king and to meet the king's needs or what have you. But Mordecai warned her when she went up in the place, don't let nobody know you a Jew. Don't let nobody know you Jewish. Okay. And so they go on, do. Now when the turn, okay, and so it talked about the period of time that it took for each of the women that had been gathered together, each of the virgin maidens that had been gathered together to go before the king, that this took a long time. That I think it said something about, let's see, so Esther was taken unto the king Ahasuerus into his royal house in the 10th month. So she had been there in preparation for 10 months, waiting just to be seen by the king. It was saying that there was a whole process, a whole purification process, and all this stuff that the women had to go through, the females, because I'm assuming when they talk about quote fair young virgin maidens, they talk about barely legal. Anyway, so it's saying that there was a whole process of purification and all of this stuff. And then it would be like a certain group of females would go before the king. And then when they came back, there was another thing. And then it'd be a couple of months before the next set would go before the king or whatever. And that Esther did not go before the king until the 10th month. So she had already been in the palace. And it took about 10 months for her to get to the point where she went to face the king or whatever. Let's see. So it says in the king, let's see. So Esther was taken unto King Ahasuerus into his house royal in the 10th month, which is the month of Tebeth, in the 7th year of his reign. And the king loved Esther above all the women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. Then the king made a great feast unto his princes and servants, and even Esther's feast, and he made a release to the provinces and gave gifts according to the state of the king. And when the virgins were gathered together the second time, then Mordecai sat at the king's gate. This is another important part of the story. Mordecai had sat at the king's gate. Esther had not yet showed her kindred or her people, as Mordecai had charged her, for Esther did the commandment of Mordecai, like as when she was brought up with him. And in those days, Mordecai sat in the king's gate. And in those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate, listen to this: 2 of the king's chamberlains, Bigthan and Teresh, of those which kept the door, were wroth, meaning they were mad. They was mad. He could hear because he's sitting by the gate. They mad and sought to lay hands on the king Ahasuerus. So they were plotting. What he heard was these 2 men who were hot under the collar about something, and they were so mad that they were at the gate, keeping the gate, but plotting and scheming to, quote, lay hands on King Ahasuerus. And the thing was known to Mordecai, who told it unto Esther the queen, and Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name. And when inquisition was made of the matter, it was found out. Therefore, they were both hanged on a tree, and it was written in the book of the Chronicles before the king. So basically, Mordecai overhears these 2 kingsmen plotting at the gate to lay hands on King Ahasuerus for whatever reason. It doesn't say. and he gets wind of it, and he's looking to win the king's favor. Mordecai's been plotting since day one. He's been plotting since day one. That's also what they don't mention up in here. They don't pay, the way they word this thing and the way people have been talking about it. I'm like, oh, I peep game. Mordecai has been looking for favor. Mordecai has been looking for an opportunity. Okay, listen to me, because go back and listen to every story that you can about who Esther, the book of Esther, what it's about, why is it significant, and it's always about Esther. Esther was a heroine of her people. She saved her people from annihilation, blah 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 blah. And they don't ever mention the significance of Mordecai's role, and there is a reason they don't mention it, because once you read this shit, the book is the shortest chapter in it's the shortest book in the Bible. Esther is. And when you read, it's only got 10 chapters in it, like little chapters in it. And because it's only like 4 pages long. And when you read it, you're like, oh, okay. This nigga was plotting. Mordecai, her uncle. He was plotting since day one. The reason she fell into this circumstance, right, where she ends up in the king's palace, because she's a Jew. And the story throughout the Bible is when Jews would come into contact with, quote, Gentiles, they may stay on the Gentiles' land, they may live among the Gentiles' people, but they're obviously Jewish because their practices are so extraordinarily different from the practices of the Gentiles in whatever they're set up in. But she was a spook. Esther was a spook at the door. Anybody know what I mean when I say a spook? Because some of y'all young and y'all might not know what a spook is. A spook is a spy. A spook is a spy. You feel me? Esther was raised to be a spy. That's what she was. That was what her role was. That's why couldn't nobody know she was a Jew. She was a spook. And Mordecai was really the main character of the story, truth be told. Because everybody talking about, oh my gosh, Esther was the hero of the story. Mordecai was like the CIA, bitch. Mordecai was like the CIA of the Jewish people. You feel me? Esther was his protege. Esther was like his chief protege. You feel me? She was like, because her people and them died. Her mama and her daddy died, so he took her under his wing. You feel me? Yes, OG Mossad. Somebody yeah, she was the OG Mossad. You feel me? She was the first agent. She was the first real agent. You feel me? And so he's like, look, you need to be pretty. You need to take care of yourself. You need to keep your hair did. You feel me? You need to behave like the Persians. You need to act like the Persians. You need to speak like the Persians. You need to be favorable in the eyes of the Persians. So when they say that she just conveniently ended up in the mix of the young virgin maidens that would go up into the palace to be chosen by the king, she just happened to be in the clique. And the keeper of the women, Haggai, who was a chamberlain for the king, the first person that took favor, that liked her, was Haggai. He just the mediator. He just the keeper of the women. He was like, I like you enough that I'm gonna give you shit. That's what it say. That it says that what did it say? It says, so it came to pass when the king's commandment and his decree was heard, and when the many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan the palace to the custody of Haggai, that Esther was brought also unto the king's house. Why would they make a distinction between her and the other maidens? That she also was brought into the king's house to the custody of Haggai, the keeper of women. And the maiden pleased him. That's who he talking about. He talking about Esther. The maiden pleased Haggai, and she obtained much kindness from him, and he speedily gave her things for purification. He wanted her to be moved up in the ranks so she could go before the king with such things as belonged to her, and the 7 maids, blah, 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 this and that, and such and such. Okay, moving on. So Mordecai, he's sitting at the gate. Why he always sitting at the king's gate? He ain't got no role in the palace or nothing. He just always at the gate, seeing what he can see, hearing what he can hear. And so one day he happens to look up on this discussion between 2 of the king's men about how they so mad they want to lay hands on the king, right? So he goes to Esther's window. He's like, look, let me tell you something. You got to make sure you tell the king so you can win favor. But make sure the king know I was the one that put you on, so I too can win favor. So he go into her window. He like, And she became king because she already came up on him. He's like, I like you the best. And so he put the crown on her head. He's like, nah, this girl got favor. You feel me? And he gonna trust you before all others. So put him on. Somebody plotting to take his life. And when it was investigated, the two dudes was hanged. And now they say, make sure that we put Mordecai's name in the book of Chronicles before the king. So I don't forget what he did, because it's a good thing that he did. He had my back, right? After these things, did King Ahasuerus promote Haman to Haman, the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, and advanced him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him. So this dude Haman, who isn't mentioned until this point, Haman is this dude who gains favor for whatever reason with the king and is placed as the king's vizier, right? As the king's vizier, he has more influence with the king than even the princes of the land. Okay. And because it says Haman now is set above, given a seat above all the princes that were with him, and all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did him in reverence. Okay, so that's twice now. You done got people saying no, king. His wife Vashti is like, nah, I ain't doing that. I don't give a fuck. I ain't doing it. You feel me? Next thing you know, the king has placed Haman as the position of vizier in his court, and Haman, being hot-headed as he was like, look, I want to be revered. And so everybody that sees me must bow and show me reverence as you would the king. And the king said, let it be so. The king was like, I'm all right with that. So every time y'all, this is a decree. Every time y'all see this dude, he my representative, y'all would bow to him as you would to me. Y'all would show him reverence as you would to me. Okay. But Mordecai was like, no, I ain't doing that. I'm not gonna show you no reverence, and I'm not gonna bow to you. Right. Then the king's servants, which were in the king's gate, said unto Mordecai, why transgressest thou the king's commandment? Now it has come to pass when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them. Ooh, let me check, because I think my battery is going low, and it's going way low. And my phone cord, for whatever reason, will not charge adequately on my laptop. So once my phone goes dead, the only way that you will be able to continue to get this word is to go onto my YouTube channel. I'm gonna try to rig it, but I don't count on it, because this happens a lot. I don't know why my I don't know why my this cord does not charge well on my laptop, but regardless, it doesn't. So once it goes dead, it's dead. All right. So you just gonna have to, those of you who are tuning in via IG are going to have to go to my YouTube channel, and I'm gonna try to rig it, but we just gonna have to figure. Y'all just gonna have to come over here to my YouTube channel if you want to continue. I know it's starting off slow, but there's a reason that I had to go through it like this. All right. So anyway, there's like, now it has come to pass that when they spake daily unto him, there's like, why do you not hearken unto them? Blah 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 blah. And let's see. And for he had told them that he was a Jew. I'm a Jew, and the laws of our religion commanded that we bow to no man or to no other gods. Right? Are y'all still on here? Are y'all still on YouTube? Can y'all still see me? Can y'all still hear me? Somebody give me a comment or a hands up. So anyway, it goes on. It's really worth reading this whole chapter. Okay, cool. Thank you, Royal. It's really worth reading this whole, because like I said, it's only 4 pages. Let's see. And Haman said unto, okay, so I should read this. All right. So it says, and let's see. Now it had come to pass that when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matters would stand, for he had told them that he was a Jew. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him show reverence, then was Haman full of wrath. He was hot. You feel me? And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had showed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai. Okay, so listen, Haman is hellfire hot. He is hellfire hot because he has gotten this station from the king as the vizier, and the first decree that he makes on behalf of the king is that everyone that passes him should admonish him and revere and should bow to him as they would the king. And Mordecai say, we Jews and our spiritual religion tells us that we should bow to no man, and so I will not, right? And so Haman is hot. He is so hot that he seeks to destroy all the Jews throughout the whole kingdom. He mad. He ain't just trying to lay hands on Mordecai. He was like, all y'all can get it. Since none of y'all can't bow, since none of y'all can't show reverence, then it ain't just about Mordecai no more. All y'all can get it. And I'm the king's right hand, so I'm gonna make sure y'all get it. Right. And so in the first month, that is the month of Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus, they cast pure, which is like I told you, Purim is the name of the festival or the ceremony that is continuously honoring the story of Esther. And the Pur in the Purim is the casting of lots. It's like throwing dice or like casting bones or like it's like a lottery. It's like a lottery. Okay. So in the first month, that is the month of Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus, they cast Pur, that is the lot, before Haman from day to day, and from month to month, and from the 12th month, that is a month Da'ar. Okay? And Haman said unto the king Ahasuerus, there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom, and their laws are diverse from our people, or from all people. Neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore, it is not the king's profit to suffer them. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of this business to bring it into the king's treasuries. And the king took his ring from his hand and gave it unto Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agite, the Jews' enemy. And the king said unto Haman, the silver is given to thee, the people also, to do with them as it seemeth good to you, or as it seemeth good to you. With my ring, do what you will. You speak for me when you have my ring on. So I'm gonna give you my ring. Whatever you feel you need to do what you got to do. Then were the king's scribes called on the 13th day of the first month, and there was written according to all that Haman had commanded unto the king's lieutenants and to the governors, that there were over every province, and to the rulers of every people in every province according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language, in the name of King Ahasuerus was it written and sealed with the king's ring. And the letters were sent by post into all the king's provinces to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews, both young and old, little children and women, in one day, even upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month of Adar, and to take the spoils of them for a prey. The copy of the writing for a commandment to be given in every province was published unto all people, that they should be ready against that day. The post went out, being hastened by the king's commandment, and the decree was given to Shushan the palace, and the king and Haman sat down to drink. But the city Shushan was perplexed. So sent out the decree far and wide, to and fro, near and far, to the 127 provinces that was under the king's control, right? And so this also went out in Shushan, in the king's immediate province. And people was like, this random as hell, like what the fuck? That's what it said. It said the people received the declaration or the king's commandment, and they were like, the fuck? Where this came from out of nowhere? This says they were perplexed. Why the king all of a sudden put a hit out on all the Jews in the entire kingdom? When Mordecai perceived all that was done, Mordecai rent his clothes and put on sackcloth with ashes and went out into the midst of the city and cried with a loud and bitter cry. Cried out with a loud and bitter cry, and came even before the king's gate, for none might enter into the king's gate clothed with sackcloth. And in every province, whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, there was great mourning among the Jews, and fasting, and weeping, and wailing, and many lay in sackcloth and ashes. So Esther's maids and her chamberlains came and told it to her. Then was the queen exceedingly grieved, and she sat raiment to clothe Mordecai and to take away his sackcloth from him, but he received it not. So she heard about what happened in the palace, and that Mordecai was at the gate screaming out loud, sobbing and weeping and wailing in sackcloth and ashes about this decree that had come down to murder all his people. Okay. And she was like, look, Mordecai, you can't do that. So she had people take some clothes down to him and take him out the sackcloth and ashes. He's like, nah, I got to stay out here doing what I'm doing, the fasting, the praying, the right? And so, let's see. Okay. Then called Esther for Hathach, one of the king's chamberlains, whom he had appointed to attend upon her, and gave him a commandment to Mordecai to know what it was and why it was. She wanted to know what the 411 is. Why is everybody in the kingdom lamenting, crying, yelling, sobbing, weeping? And Mordecai, let's see. And so Hathach went forth to Mordecai unto the street of the city, which was before the king's gate. And Mordecai told him of all that had happened unto him, and of the sum of the money that Haman had promised to pay the king's treasuries for the Jews to destroy them. So it was 30, was it 30,000, 20,000? I forget what it was, but it was a bunch. Because he was mad. And he was like, look, I'm gonna pay a lot of money to have the Jews murdered, and this is gonna go in the king's treasury. Whatever. I don't remember how much it was. 30,000 pieces of silver or something like that. Whatever. Anyway, he says, also he gaveth him the copy of the writing of the decree that was given to Shushan to destroy them, to show it unto Esther, and to declare it unto her, and to charge her that she should go in unto the king to make supplication unto him, and to make request before him for her people. What he's saying is, go back, show this girl what the king done wrote, or what has been written in the king's name, and what he intends to do, which is to massacre all her people. Basically, he says, now's the time. Now you need to reveal who you are. You need to tell the king, you can't do this because I too am a Jew. You cannot kill my people. Okay. And so, and Hathach came and told Esther the words of Mordecai. Again, Esther spake unto Hathach and gave him commandment unto Mordecai. All the king's servants and the people of the king's provinces do know that whosoever, whether man or woman, shall come unto the king into the king, shall come unto the king into the inner court, who is not called by the king, there is one law of his to put him to death, except such to whom the king shall hold out the golden scepter, that he may live. But I have not been called to come in unto the king in these 30 days. She said, I ain't seen the king in 30 days, and I can't just go up in there unannounced. He has to call me. If I go in there and I'm not called, I'm sure to die. And so that's what he sent the dude out to tell her uncle. And they told this to Mordecai, Esther's words. They told to Mordecai Esther's words. Then Mordecai commanded to answer Esther, think not of thyself, that thou shalt escape the king's house more than all more than all the Jews. For if thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time, then shall their enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews from another place. But thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed. And who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this? And he was like, look, girl, he was like, you were in this position for a reason. Don't you know God put you in this place for a reason? And it wasn't just for you to post up in the castle living like a queen, that God foresaw something was coming down the pike. And don't you know this is what you were primed to do? Would you betray your destiny? Right? And let's see. And so, for if thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time, then thou shalt their enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews from another place. But that blah 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 blah. Okay. So thou art come to this kingdom for such a time as this. Then Esther bade them return to Mordecai this answer: Go, gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast ye for me, and neither eat nor drink for 3 days, day or night. I also and my maidens will fast likewise. And so I will go unto the king, which is not according to the law, and if I perish, then I perish. So Mordecai went his way and did according to all that Esther had commanded him. So basically, she was like, all right, go gather the squad. Y'all keep your sackcloths and ashes. Don't nobody eat nothing or drink nothing for 3 days. Y'all gonna meditate on me to preserve my life. Me and the maidens, we gonna do the same thing. Okay. Now it came to pass that on the third day that Esther put on her royal apparel and stood in the inner court of the king's house over against the king's house, and the king sat upon his royal throne and in the royal house over against the gate of the house. And it was so, when the king saw Esther, the queen, standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight. And the king held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand. So Esther drew near and touched the top of the scepter. This is what saved her life. Then said the king unto her, What wilt thou, Queen Esther? And what is thy request? It shall be given thee to the half of my kingdom. And Esther answered, If it seem good unto the king, let the king and Haman come to this day unto the banquet that I have prepared for him. So listen, what he said was, this is going to be familiar to. What he said was, look, you have one favor. You look good. You look lovely. You feel me? My heart doing a little pitter patter. I'm going to hold out the scepter so they don't murk you. What is it that you desire? Because you look so fine today, and I haven't seen you for 30 days. You look so fine today. Tell me what it is your heart's desire, and I will give it to you up to half my kingdom. That's what he said. He said, You're fine. You feel me? And I've been up in here doing kingly shit, and I ain't seen your face for 30 days. I almost forgot I had a queen wife, and you look good today, and I'm in the mood. What is it that you want? Because I'll give it to you up to half my kingdom. That's what he said. Up to half the kingdom. You can request anything of me up to half the kingdom. Doesn't that sound familiar? Doesn't this sound like a replay, a predecessor or a replay? Because isn't this the same thing that happens in the New Testament? I mean, verbatim. Isn't this the same thing that happens in the New? I told y'all. Isn't this the thing that happens in the New Testament? I digress, but I don't digress because it's important that this story is repeated some 2,000 years later in the New Testament. Anyway. Okay, so he said, look, you can get it. Whatever it is, you can have it. She said, meet me I'm gonna host a little soiree for you and Hammond. Come to the crib, come to the spot. You feel me? And so the king says to Hammond, make haste, because Esther has invited us to her house for a house, to her part of the castle, I guess, for a house party. So the king and Hammond came to the banquet that Esther had prepared. And the king said unto Esther at the banquet of wine, what is thy petition of me? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? And even to the half of the kingdom it shall be performed. Then answered Esther and said, my petition and my request is if I have found favor in the sight of the king, and if it please the king to grant my petition and to perform my request, let the king and boy, don't you start. Let the king and Hammond, hold on. Let the king and Haman come to the banquet that I shall prepare for them, and I will do to the morrow as the king hath said. Whatever, whatever, whatever. Blah 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 blah. Oh, I guess y'all, we should really read this whole thing, but I don't want to. But anyway, so what happens is, let's see, is this where fourth, blah, 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 blah. So even this little section, Hammond goes home and he's hyped. He's like, man, I must be really doing a good job because Esther, the king's wife, the queen, has invited me to a personal banquet with only us, me, the king, and her. And he kind of goes home like hella hype. Let me read this to you. God damn it, because this whole chapter is really, really revealing. Okay, boy, that's all that mess. Ugh. He goes forth joyful. Okay, so then Haman, Ham, then went Haman forth that day joyful and with a glad heart. But when Haman saw Mordecai again at the king's gate, that he stood full of indignation against Mordecai. Nevertheless, Haman refrained himself, and when he came home, he sent and called for his friends Zeresh his wife. And Haman told them of the glory of his riches and the multitude of children and all the things wherein the king had promoted him, and how he had advanced him above the princes and the servants of the king. Haman said, moreover, yea, Esther the queen did let no man come in with the king unto the banquet that she had prepared, but myself. And tomorrow I am invited unto her also with the king. Yet all of this availeth me nothing so long as I see Mordecai the Jew sitting at the king's gate. He was it was like so hype. He was like, I'm so hype. I'm so hype. I ain't gonna let this dude get on my nerves. But I'm mad because I'm hype. I'm so hype. But who he think he is, and he ain't gonna get up and bow to me and show me reverence. So even as he's hype about this invitation, he is still upset about this Jew sitting at the gate that's testing his stilo. You know what I mean? And so then said Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends unto him, let a gallows be made of 50 cubits high, and tomorrow speak thou unto the king that Mordecai may be hanged thereon. Then go, then go thou and merrily with the king unto the banquet. And the thing pleased Haman, and he caused the gallows to be made. So his wife was like, look, don't let that dude get on your nerves. Look, you know what you got to do, but so that you are in a good mood when you go, just make sure you have a gallows built, and before you even go to the banquet, have Mordecai hanged from the gallows, and then go straight there from the thing. And he was like, yeah, that sounds like a good ass idea. So he had the gallows built. Okay, and on that night, could not the king sleep. Listen, so this is the story of Haman. On that same night, it says that the king could not sleep, and he commanded to bring the book of records of the Chronicles, and they read the Chronicles before the king, and it was found written that Mordecai had told of Big Thana and Teresh, the two king's chamberlains, keepers of the door, who sought to lay hands on the king Ahasuerus. He couldn't sleep because he was remembering, because he a busy man. He the king. You feel me? And he's like, okay, do this, write this, do. And one night, this night that Haman had gallows built for Mordecai on the same night, the king is harassed in his sleep because he remembers something that he had not yet addressed. And so he tells the keepers of the Chronicles to come and to read to him. And it says it was found written that Mordecai had told of Bigthana and Teresh, the two king's chamberlains, keepers of the doors, who sought to lay hands on the king Ahasuerus. And the king said, what honor and dignity hath been done to Mordecai for this? Did we do anything for him? Did we give him, like, what did we do for him for this revelation? And then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, there was nothing done for him. And the king said, who is in the court? Now Haman was come into the outward court of the king's house to speak unto the king to hang Mordecai. Haman was already on his way to the house to tell the king that he was in preparation to hang Mordecai in the gallows that he had prepared for him. So as the king's, scribes or whatever is reading to him, yeah, we didn't do anything for him. You just said make sure we write it in the Chronicles, but we ain't do nothing. And at the same time that they're telling him this about Mordecai, Haman is coming to the king's place and say, look, I'm gonna hang Mordecai tonight because he with that bullshit. He won't bow. He won't show me no reverence. And so this is happening at the same time. And the king's servant said unto him, behold, Haman standeth in the court. And the king said, let him come in. So Haman came in, and the king said unto him, what shall be done unto the man whom the king delighteth to honor? Now Haman thought in his heart, to whom would the king delight? To whom would the king delight to honor more than to myself? More than to myself, right? And so Haman answered the king, for the man whom the king delighteth to honor, let the royal apparel be brought which the king useth to wear, and the horse the king rideth upon, and the crown royal which is set upon the head of the king. And let his apparel and his horse be delivered to the hand of one of the king's most noble princes, that they may array the man withal, whom the king delighteth to honor, and bring him on horseback through the streets of the city, and proclaim before him, thus shall it be done to the man whom the king delighteth to honor. Then the king said unto Haman, make haste then, and take the apparel and the horse as thou hast said, and do even so to Mordecai the Jew that sitteth at the king's gate. Let nothing fail all of thou hast spoken. Oh my God. Okay, so I know that Hamlet-ass style writing, the Shakespearean writing, got y'all off guard. But what had happened was, at the same time that the king is harassed and asleep, can't get to sleep, because he's like, so I forgot to do something. Something happened and I forgot to do it. So he has the men come and read to him. What has been going on the last few days that I may have forgotten? And they was like talking about Mordecai, thwarting this plot to lay hands on the king. And it was like, damn, what do we do for this good dude who saved my life from the conspirators within my castle? And it was like, we ain't did nothing yet. He's like, damn. And at the same time, Haman is coming to inform the king that he has raised gallows with which to hang Mordecai for disrespecting himself. And so when he comes to the king's chambers, the king said, yo, what should I do for a person who the king wishes to honor? Because I delight in this deed that this person has done. He's speaking vaguely, though. He said, what would you do for somebody that the king would seek to honor because he delighteth in him so? And it says that Haman was like, well, who else would the king delighteth in more than me? And so he was like, well, let me just think of all the things. Like, give him your old garments that you used to wear and put your old crown upon his head, and give him the finest horse that you used to ride, so that he too can ride through the streets and be admonished and this and that and such and such. He was like, yeah, do all these things, thinking that the king is talking about him. And he said, you know what? This is a good idea you got right here. That I like it. I like it. Now take your ass out here and go find Mordecai and do these things. What did he say? He said, and do these things. Let nothing fail of all that you have spoken. Everything you just said, make sure every last one of those things happen for Mordecai. Then took Haman the apparel and the horse and arrayed Mordecai, and brought him on horseback through the street of the city, and proclaimed before him, thus shall it be done unto the man whom the king delighteth to honor. Okay, so Haman has got the bit in the mouth of the horse, and his ass then had to drape Mordecai and to do all the apparel and everything, prop his ass up on the horse, and then he had to take the rope from the horse, and walk him through the city, proclaiming that this is what happens when the king delighteth to honor someone. So he is humiliated. Okay, Mordecai came again to the king's gate, but Haman hasted to his house, mourning and having his head covered. He was mortified. He was so undone. Child said he was crying. Wait a minute. It said what? That he was crying. He was mourning. He went back to his house. He was so shamed. He had his head covered so nobody in the street would even know who he was. And Haman told Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends everything that it had befallen him on that night. Then said his wise men and Zeresh his wife unto him, if Mordecai be of the seed of the Jews, before whom thou hast begun to fall, thou shalt not prevail against him, but thou shalt surely fall before him. Listen, you hear what she just said? She said, pull your shit together, nigga. She said, look, if Mordecai be the seed of the Jews, before whom thou hast begun to fall, thou shalt not prevail against him, but thou shalt surely fall before him. Pull your shit together. That's what she said. She said, this one man, and your ass crumbling, your ass falling apart just in front of one man because of one man. She said, if you fall apart now just before the seed, then you are sure to fall. What did she say? You are sure to not prevail against him and shall surely fall before him. Pull your shit together. Now get a grill. That's what she said. And while they were yet talking with him, came the king's chamberlain and hasted to bring Haman unto the banquet that Esther had prepared. She said, "Pull your sheet. You ain't missed the boat. This is just a bump in the road. You still get to go with the king by himself to his wife crib, and she gonna feed and imbibe y'all. Pull your shit together." So the king and Haman came to the banquet with Esther the queen. And the king said again unto Esther on the second day of the banquet of wine, why is that? What is thy petition, Queen Esther? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? And it shall be performed, even to the half of the kingdom. Boy, if you want to go outside, boy, you're doing too much. Ugh. Now, all that yelling you do. Come on now. Come on. Not you. Come on, boy, because you're doing too much. All that hollering up in here. Come on. You know what? Let me grab some more juice before I sit down. Yeah, so there's this little, it's like a little black owned, pseudo kind of like it's like just health juices and stuff, smoothies and juices right around the corner. And I've been saying for a while I was going to stop in and see what they got and, just support a local black business that's right here in Hollywood. There's so few. And so I just went up in there, looked around for a little bit right before I got up on here. Right before I got up on here was just looking around, and they didn't have much at all. But I was like, okay, I'll get a little juice. So you see this little juice that I got from there, right? From this little black owned store, right? And so I was like, okay, I'll just get this little juice, and that way I'll say I supported the little business. You feel me? It's like a ginger lime cane juice. Okay, you see this? And then he rang me up for this juice. This is, what is it? 20 ounces, 16 ounces, $18. I was like, all right, well. $18. I was like, well, that's all the money I'll be spending up in there for a 16-ounce juice. It's nice, but for this 16-ounce juice, it cost me $18.99. Ginger, lime, raw cane juice. It's a metabolizer, digestive, and supports joint health. Child. I said $18.99. I was like, all right then. Well, I had to look at the bottle. I was like, well, it's got cannabis in it. Like maybe that's what. Nope, no cannabis in it. I said, well, I supported that black business. That'll be all I do. That's all my contribution, child. Anyway, okay, so all right, so he go to the house, okay, go to the banquet, and Xerxes repeats his proclamation. He's like, what do you want, child? What's your petition? I'll give you up to half the kingdom. What do you want? And then Esther, the queen, answered and said, if I have found favor in thy sight, O king, and if it please the king, let my life be given me at my petition, and my people at my request. She is like, if you have found favor in me, then spare my life and that of my people. All right. For we are sold, I and my people, to be destroyed, to be slain, to perish. But if we had been sold for bondman or bondwoman, I had held my tongue, although the enemy could not countervail the king's damage. The king Ahasuerus answered and said unto Esther the queen, who is he, and where is he that does presume in his heart to destroy you? And Esther said, the adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman. Then Haman was afraid before the king and the queen. And the king, arising from the banquet of the wine, in his wrath went into the palace garden. And Haman stood up to make request for his life to Esther the queen, for he saw that there was evil. Determined against him by the king. Then the king returned out of the palace garden into the place of the banquet of wine, and Haman was fallen upon the bed whereon Esther was. Then said the king, will he force the queen also before me in this house? As the word went out of the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face. And Haborna, one of the chamberlains, said before the king, behold, also the gallows 50 cubits high, which Haman had made for Mordecai, who had spoken good for the king, standeth in the house of Haman. Then the king said, hang him thereon. So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then was the king's wrath pacified. Listen, Haman called himself throwing himself on the bed where the queen was, trying to appeal for his life. And the king walked in because he was hot. He had to walk out for a minute. He was like, I need some air because I'm mad as hell right now. So he walks out in the garden to get some air, and he comes back in and sees Haman done thrown himself on the bed where the queen was, calling himself appealing for his life. And he was like, what did he say? He said, he saw return to the palace, and Haman had fallen upon the bed where Esther was. And then the king said, will he force the queen also before me in this house? The king came in and saw this nigga on his wife's bed. It's like, what? So you gonna force my wife to have sex with you too on top of all this? That's what he said. That's what the book say. As he came in and saw the dude throwing it, he begging for his life. But the king is like, oh, what? So you about to force my wife now too? Oh, no, that ain't, we can't do that. He said, will he force the queen also before me? You gonna just try to have sex with my wife right here in my own house before me? And as the word went out of the king's mouth, they covered him his face. He looked completely ashamed, right? And then the chamberlains came in, was like, yeah, king, that ain't all that happened. While Mordecai was your man, because he was looking out for your life, Haman went and had a 50 cubit gallows erected in his yard to hang Mordecai. He sure did. He did that. Up until this point, ain't nobody said shit. Ain't nobody said shit. But as soon as they saw that the king was mad at Haman, they was like, look, king, that ain't all that happened. Let me tell you what Haman did behind your back. You know, your boy Mordecai, who was looking out for you, made sure these dudes didn't kill you. He went because he was mad. He had an attitude with Mordecai. Haman went and had a gallows erected in his backyard, and he was going to hang your boy. And king was like, word? Good. Go hang his ass from his own gallows. And they said they took his ass to his own backyard and hung him from his own gallows at the king's word. You feel me? And on that day, the king Ahasuerus gave the house of Haman, the Jews, enemy unto Esther the queen. And Mordecai came before the king. For Esther had told what he was unto her. Basically, it's saying that once they killed Haman. Now I didn't read parts of it. I skipped, but Haman, one of his main prides, if you will, was his sons. He had a gang of sons. The Bible say he had 70 sons. Haman was a rolling stone, y'all. The Bible say Haman had 70 sons, of which were his pride and joy. Um, and so Haman's wealth, when he was hung, did not go to his offspring. His wealth became the property of Esther. His wealth, the whole wealth of his entire family, the whole wealth of his entire family became Esther's. The king took off his the king, and then also Esther and Mordecai came before the king, for Esther had told what he was unto her. Esther then went on to tell the king that Mordecai was her uncle. So he was already proud of Mordecai. He already, quote, delighteth to honor Mordecai. And then she, his wife, told him that this is my uncle. And the king took off his ring, which he had taken from Haman, and gave it unto Mordecai. And Esther set Mordecai over the house of Haman. So once Mordecai becomes now the vizier, the role that Haman had played now becomes the role that Mordecai plays. He goes from a dude sitting in rags at the king's gate every day trying to catch the 411, placing his niece up into proximity as the spook so that he can rise through the ranks through good deeds and shit. And so he goes from the rag man praying and wailing and crying and sackcloth and ashes at the gates to now becoming the chief vizier of Xerxes, okay, over the whole empire. He has given dominion over the whole empire, y'all. This story gets deep. He has given dominion over the whole empire. And so he took off his ring and gave it to Mordecai. And then once this happened, the wealth had been given to Esther, Haman's wealth. And Esther set Mordecai over the house of Haman. So she transferred that wealth from herself to Mordecai. Esther spake yet again before the king and fell down at his feet and besought him with tears to put away the mischief of Haman the Agagite as his device that he had devised against the Jews. Then the king held out the golden scepter toward Esther. So Esther arose and stood before the king and said, if it please the king, and I have found favor in his sight, and then the thing seemed found favor in his, and the thing seemed right before the king, and I be pleasing in his eyes. Let it be written to reverse the letters devised by Haman, the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, which he wrote to destroy the Jews which are in all the king's provinces. For how can I endure to see the evil that shall come unto my people? Or how can I endure to see the destruction of my kindred? Then the king Ahasuerus said unto Esther the queen and to Mordecai the Jew, behold, I have given Esther the house of Haman, and him they have hanged upon the gallows, because he laid his hands upon the Jews. Write ye also for the Jews as it liketh you in the king's name, and seal it with the king's ring. For the writing which is written is the king's name, and sealed with the king's ring. May no man reverse. Listen, this is where this shit gets deep. Okay. This has happened already twice now. Now, this is the third time this has happened in this very short story, where somebody pitches an idea to the king and he says, that sounds good. Go with that. Write it how you want to. That's what he just said. He said, these things that you have said to me, that sound good. I like that. Make sure that you use, what is it? That you write it in my name and you seal it with my seal, so that no man may reverse it. So that no man ever may reverse it. Listen, And he literally said, write it as you like in my name. This is, to me, this point right here, verse 8, chapter 8, verse 8 is the coup d'etat in the whole story. He said, write ye also for the Jews as you like, as it liketh you, in the king's name, and seal it with the king's ring. For the writing which is written in the king's name and sealed with the king's ring may no man reverse. Then were the king's scribes called at that time in the 3rd month, that is the month of Sivan, on the 23rd day thereof, and it was written according to all that Mordecai commanded unto the Jews, according to Mordecai, who is now the chief vizier. Mordecai commanded unto the Jews and to the lieutenants and the deputies and the rulers of all the provinces which are from India into Ethiopia, and 127 provinces, unto every province according to the writing thereof, and unto every people after their language, and to the Jews according to their writing and according to their language. And he wrote in the king Ahasuerus' name, and sealed it with the king's ring, and sent letters by post on horseback, and riders on mules, camels, and young dromedaries, wherein the king granted the Jews which were in every city to gather themselves together and to stand for their life. Listen, y'all, listen. Wherein the king granted the Jews which were in every city to gather themselves together and to stand for their life, and to destroy, to slay, and to cause to perish all of the people and province that would assault them, both little ones and women, and to take the spoils of them for a prey. Do you hear what I'm telling you? I'm gonna need y'all to talk to me, because I need to know that you're hearing what I'm saying. Because unless you understand what I'm saying, you won't understand what all this jibber jabber has to do with this goddamn Project Esther that has been written. I'm not going on unless somebody tells me they got me. Because see, what has just happened here is diabolical. What has just happened here? Remember when I said when Haman drafted this thing about the destruction of all the Jews, right? Everybody had been chilling. Everybody in the kingdom, in the 127 provinces, have been chilling. They've been chilling. There was no report of wars or nothing like that. As a matter of fact, the king had just threw a party that was 180 goddamn days long. Everybody was chilling. Everybody was chilling in the provinces. Haman makes the declaration because he got an attitude towards Mordecai, towards one person. Fuck it, I'm the vizier. I can do whatever I want. I got the king's permission to do whatever I want. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have all the Jews killed everywhere in all the provinces. And when the people in the immediate part of the kingdom in Shushan got word of this, didn't it say that they were perplexed? Like, where the fuck this came from? It didn't say the Jewish people. It said everybody got the shit. It was like, the fuck? Where this came from? They was perplexed. That's what the Bible said. And so she and Mordecai, now this book don't say specifically that they was on a mission to seize power, but that's what I'm reading. That they was on a mission to seize power. The mission wasn't to, quote, protect their people or anything like that. Because what does Mordecai do? As soon as he is lifted up to this place as vizier, and the king says, whatever you say, you got my stamp of approval. You got my ring, you feel me? You got the power of my name, you feel me? However you like it, word it however you like it. And that's what we'll do. And so he doesn't say we're going to rescind the order made by Haman and spare the life of the Jews. That's not what he's saying. He don't undo what Haman had done. That's not the thing that occurs to them to do, is to send out people to say, oh no, the king has changed his mind. Everybody leave the Jews alone. They just been chilling. We just been chilling. Scratch that. That ain't what he did. The first declaration that he makes, the first action as vizier that he takes with the weight of the throne behind him, as he says, take my words to and fro and to all the provinces and this and that and such and such. And the king has granted, wherein the king has granted the Jews, which were in every city, to gather themselves together. He said, y'all get it together. Y'all pull it together. Yeah, exactly. I love that. King said, you like it, I love it. And so he doesn't even oversee what is written. He's like, whatever you say. Y'all got it. Here's the ring. Here's my scribes. Write it how you want it. And because she says, she's the king, look, because she says to the king something else. She tells the king, look, I need you to take the hit off my people. That's essentially what she said. Take the hit off my people. He was like, you know what? Who would dare even do this to y'all anyway? And he said Haman and this and that and this and that, whatever, whatever. And he was like, you know what? Well, Mordecai's my advisor now, my vizier now. So write it how you write. And so the first thing this nigga write is, wherein the king has granted the Jews, which were in every city, to gather themselves. And he says, gather yourselves together to stand for your life, to destroy, to slay, to cause to perish all the power of the people and province that would assault them, both little ones gonna assault you, really? Little ones and women, and to take the spoil of them for prey. Steal everything. Once you kill everybody, that's what it says. Once you kill everybody, take everything that they own as spoils for yourself. He says, what did he say? All of the power of the people and the provinces that would eventually assault, both little ones and women. Sound familiar? Does that sound familiar? When you hear certain people say, we have to kill them while they're babies, otherwise they'll grow up to be terrorists. And then it goes on to say, upon one day in all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus, namely, upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month of Adar, the copy of the writing for a commandment to be given in every province was published unto all the people, and that the Jews should be ready against that day to avenge themselves on their enemies. But who are their enemies? Who are their enemies? Because up until this point, nobody has attacked them. The call has been made by one man with an attitude, and this becomes the justification for what will eventually become a I like that, a preemptive defense, a preemptive defense declaration, preemptively defending ourselves. Instead of saying, okay, we have all the power of the king, we can just rescind the hit that was put out by Haman, because everybody was like, what the fuck? This dude was on anyway. Everybody was perplexed by this hit that came down from Haman. And it had not even had time to begin. All right? But that ain't what he said, because that nigga had ulterior motives. Okay? And so the posts that rode upon the mules and the camels went out, being hastened and pressed on by the king's commandment. And the decree was given to at Shushan the palace. And Mordecai went out from the presence of the king in royal apparel of blue and white, and with a great crown of gold, and with a garment of fine linen and purple. And the city of Shushan rejoiced and was glad. The Jews had light and gladness and joy and honor. Listen to these next three verses. And in every province and in every city, whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, Jews had joy and gladness and a feast and good day. And many of the people of the land became Jews. Listen, listen, listen. And many of the people of the land became Jews for fear of the Jews fell upon them. Everybody became afraid of the Jews because of this decree that had been spreading across the land. They saw all the Jews hype, happy, excited because the decree was telling them, get ready to start slaying. And so many people, it says many people from these lands became Jews for the fear of Jews fell upon them. Look, we gotta convert, or otherwise they gonna slay us too. That's what your Bible says. Now in the 12th month, that is the month of Adar, on the 13th day of the same, when the king's commandment and his decree drew near to be put into execution, in the day that the enemies of the Jews hoped to have power over them, though it was turned to the contrary, that the Jews had rule over them that hated them. Listen. It says the people was waiting; they were scared because the decree drew near to be put to execution. And in that day, the enemy of the Jews hoped. And in the day that the enemies of the Jews hoped to have power over them, though it was turned to the contrary, that the Jews had rule over them that hated them. The Jews gathered themselves together in their cities throughout all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus to lay hand on such as sought their hurt, and no man could withstand them. No man could withstand the Jews. Listen. And no man could withstand them, for the fear of them fell upon all people. The fear of the Jews fell upon all people, and all the rulers of the provinces, and the lieutenants, and the deputies, and the officers of the king helped the Jews. Listen, listen, listen. No man could withstand them, for the fear of them fell upon all people, and all the rulers of all the provinces, and their lieutenants, and their deputies, and their officers of the king helped the Jews, because the fear of Mordecai fell upon them. You hear what I just said? These people had the power of the entire state. They had the power in their hands, the power to destroy, not to protect and serve, y'all. Not to protect and serve. They had the power. They were given the power to destroy. For Mordecai was great in the king's house, and his fame went out throughout all the provinces. For this man Mordecai waxed greater and greater. Thus the Jews, listen, not provoked. They were not provoked. It doesn't say that because Haman had been in power and had made this declaration that so many Jews have been killed, and so many Jews had lost their lives, and so this was their divine just retribution. It didn't say that. It didn't say that at all. Not nowhere in this book did it say that. What it did say was once Haman's power had been revoked and Mordecai came into power, his first thing was, we got to slay all would-be enemies. They don't have to provoke us. If they ain't us, they are enemy. That's what he said. If they are not us, they are enemy. And so what does it say here on verse 15 of chapter 9? It says, thus the Jews smote all their enemies with the stroke of the sword, and slaughter and destruction, and did what they would unto those that hated them. They ain't say unto those that had killed them, those that had stolen their children, those that had maimed them, it didn't say that. It said those who would hate them. All you have to do is hate us and you can get it. You can get this blade. And I'm telling you, that is the reason when you talk about this what do you call it? This new legislation that they're trying to get passed, and the legislation says it's for what? The legislation says that the subheading of the legislation is what? What is it? What's it called? What is it called? It is called a national strategy to combat anti-Semitism. That's what it's called. The Esther Project is called a national strategy to combat anti-Semitism, a national task force on anti-Semitism. This becomes the reason that the language of everybody being called an anti-Semite becomes so important, because now legislation has to cast an umbrella identification of what qualifies as anti-Semitism. And why is it called the Esther Project? I still haven't talked to you at length. I'm getting to it because the code of tie is coming in this chapter. Because everything that he said was about those that hate him, those that hate them, those that hate them, those that hate them. So now everything anti-Semitism, everything becomes anti-Semitism. Everything becomes anti-Semitism because you have to cast a wide net so that everything can fall under this umbrella that justifies in modern times an onslaught. Because it says here, the Jews thus the Jews smote all their enemies with the stroke of the sword, and slaughter and destruction, and did what they would unto those that hated them. That was all the requirement to justify the onslaught. That was all the requirements, those that hated them, to justify the onslaught. And that people were so terrified of the Jews and of Mordecai, it says the fear of Mordecai fell upon them. That everybody was so fearful of the Jews that they quickly converted, because it wasn't just the Jews, that because Mordecai's quote power waxed greater and greater, he had the power of the entire Persian state as his sword. He's the vizier. He is over all the princes of the 127 kingdoms within the empire. What did it say? From the Asiatic places all the way in Europe into Ethiopia. Isn't that what it said? He had the entire state of 127 provinces in his possession as this sword through which he was raining holy bloody hell on everybody who quote hated the Jews. Not crimes against the Jews, not killed the Jews, just hated the Jews. You hear me? And it says that, and in Shushan the palace, this is where they actually live. This is the place where the king actually lives. In Shushan the palace, the Jews slew and destroyed 500 men. And Parshandatha and Dalphon and Absatha and Partha and Adalia and Aradia and Bashap, Marmashta and Arise and Aride and Vihesta, and the 10 sons of Haman and the son of Hamadatha, the enemy of the Jews, slew they. And but on the spoil laid they not their hand. And on that day, the number of those that were slain in Shushan the palace was brought before the king. Somebody went to the king and was like, yo, your boy out of pocket. Your boy out of pocket. They went to the king. They was like, yo, your boy out here wilding. Your boy out here out of pocket. And so they came before the king. They was like, right here in our own city, in our own town, this nigga done slayed 500 people.
500 men. And the king said unto Esther the queen, the Jews have slain and destroyed 500 men in Shushan the palace, and the 10 sons of Haman. Why have they done it? What have they done in the rest of the king's provinces? There's like, damn, if they didn't kill 500 people in this little bit of time right here in Shushan the palace, what have they done in the rest of the king's provinces? Now what is thy petition? Now what you want me to do? That's what he's telling Esther. He's like, damn, your boy out here wilding, and it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request further? It shall be done. Then said Esther, if it please the king, let it be granted to the Jews which are in Shushan to do tomorrow also according unto this day's decree, and let Haman's 10 sons be hanged upon the gallows. She still wasn't happy. She was like, look, we done already killed 10 of the man's sons. They done killed 10 of Haman's sons. And he said, so what else do you want, girl? And she was like, well, if it please the king, and let us do like we did today. And can we hang 10 of Haman's sons? Can we hang 10 of Haman's sons from the gallows? And the king commanded it to be done. And the decree was given to Shushan, and they hanged Haman's 10 sons, 10 more of his sons. For the Jews that were in Shushan gathered themselves together on the 14th day, also of the month Adar, and slew 300 more men at Shushan. But on the prey they laid not their hands. So they didn't take the loot; they just killed the men. But the other Jews that were in the king's provinces gathered themselves together and stood for their lives, and had rest from their enemies, and slew of their foes 75,000. But they laid not their hands on the prey. Y'all hear what I just said? So the king was like, well, what else is going on? If y'all done killed now 820 people in Shushan, what's happening in the rest of the provinces? And in the rest of the provinces, the Jews killed 75,000 people. That's what your Bible say. I'm reading the King James Version. So with all y'all who clutching y'all pearls and feeling some kind of way, this y'all book. This y'all shit. I'm just reading it. I'm just reading y'all shit. Y'all understanding of history. Okay? That when the word finally came back to the king, they was like, your boy is responsible for the killing of 75,000 people throughout your province. And on the 13th day of the month of Adar, and on the 14th day of the same, rested they and made it a day of feasting and gladness. So they was killing all these people left and right and to and fro. 820 up in Shushan itself, and then an additional 75,000. And they asses was tired. And so they said on the 13th and 14th day of Adar that we gonna rest and be merry and be glad. That's what your book say. That they needed to rest from all this massacre. And so they made it, the 13th and 14th day, a day of feasting and gladness. Like we did that. We did that. 75,000 afar and 820 in our own hometown, our own town. But the Jews that were at Shushan assembled together on the 13th day thereof, and on the 14th day thereof, and on the 15th day of the same, they rested and made it a day of feasting and gladness. Therefore, the Jews of the villages that dwelt in the unwalled towns made the 14th of the month Adar and a day of gladness and feasting, and a good day, and of sending portions to one another. And Mordecai wrote these things and sent letters unto all the Jews that were in all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus, both nigh and far, to establish this among them, that they should keep the 14th of the month Adar and the 15th of the same yearly. And as this is how it became a holiday. This is how it became a holiday that they celebrate to this day. And I'm gonna tell you how they celebrate it in a minute. And as the days where the Jews rested from their enemies, and the month which was turned unto them from a month of sorrow to joy, and from mourning into a good day, that they should make the days of feasting and joy, and of sending portions to one another and gifts to the poor. The Jews undertook to do as they had begun, and as Mordecai had written unto them, because Haman the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, the enemy of all the Jews, had devised against the Jews to destroy them, and had cast pur, or that is the lot, to consume them and to destroy them. But when Esther came before the king, he commanded by the letters that his wicked device, which he devised against the Jews, should return upon his own head, and that he and his sons should be hanged on the gallows. Wherefore they called these days Purim, after the name of Pur. Therefore, for all of the words of this letter, and of that which they had seen concerning this matter, and which had come unto them, the Jews ordained and took upon them, and upon their seed, and upon all such as joined themselves unto them, listen, so as it should not fail, that they would keep these 2 days according to their writing and according to their appointed time every year. Listen, do y'all hear what I just read? I just read. Reading along in my Bible too, the commentary notes say the book ends in peace and tranquility, with Jewish people living in harmony and mutual goodwill with the Gentile majority under Jewish leadership. Listen, under Jewish leaders who are respected and admired by the rulers, yet who are openly identified with the Jewish community and unashamed to advance its interests, speak out in its defense. See, I don't even have that. I'm gonna need all of that you just typed up in this comment section. I'm gonna need you to email that to me, because baby, we ain't even done with the chapter. It's almost done. But this little section that I just read here, when it's talking about keeping the days of Purim, right? Therefore, all the words of this letter and of that which they had seen concerning this matter, and which had come unto them, the Jews ordained and took upon them and upon their seed. Listen, took upon them and took upon their seed and took upon them all such who had joined themselves unto them, married in, you know, represent. So what you saying? Represent their interest and advance their interest. So as it should not fail that they would keep these 2 days according to their writing and according to their appointed time, and that these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation, every family, every province, and every city, and that these days of Purim should not fail from among the Jews, nor the memorial of them perish from their seed. May we always remember what we just did, striking terror and fear into the heart of everyone who was around us, but who was not us. Then Esther the queen, the daughter of Abiel, and Mordecai the Jew, wrote with all authority to confirm this second letter of Purim. And he sent the letters unto all the Jews to the 127 provinces of the king of Ahasuerus, with words of peace and truth, to confirm these days of Purim in their times appointed, according as Mordecai the Jew and Esther the queen had enjoined them, and as they had decreed for themselves and for their seed the matters of the fastings and their cry. And the decree of Esther confirmed these matters of Purim, and it was written in the book. And the king Ahasuerus laid a tribute upon the land and upon the isles of the sea, and all the acts of his power and of his might, and the declaration of the greatness of Mordecai, whereunto the king advanced him, are they not written in the book of Chronicles of Kings of Media and Persia? For Mordecai the Jew was next unto King Ahasuerus, and great among the Jews, and accepted the multitude of his brethren, seeking the wealth of his people and speaking peace to all his seed. Now, that's the end of the chapter. There's some things that we need to say that are, quote, hidden in this chapter. Okay? Esther's name means hidden, or hidden in plain sight. This is why I said she was a spook. Her ass was a spy. And even if she was not clear about her uncle's intentions, her uncle was crystal clear about what it was he was after. You feel me? What else? Okay. Like I said, some story. Let's see. That's not really relevant. Uh-huh. So there were three things. There were three things that happened in this chapter that I find really interesting. Is because you know I'm always talking about the whole like strategic and weapon. He was written like Trump, as a matter of fact. Because Trump just be signing shit left and right, to and fro, and we say, look at what Trump did, look at what Trump did, but Trump can't read. I don't know how many people have heard the story, but there is this ongoing theory that's been around for a long time. So that Trump is illiterate, that he does not know how to read, right? And if this is the case, that's what I was thinking about when I was reading the story, is that you have three different times in a very short book where this king hands over power to another and says, yeah, that sounds like a good idea, let's do that. Without reading, without, having his, yeah, let's do that. And each time it backfires. The reason I say it backfires is because, let's, excuse me. Where did I write that at? Okay. So there was a couple of things. One, I guess that this book is very controversial. The book of Esther is very controversial, apparently. So I read several things and saw several videos where people were talking about how how among evangelicals and among Hebrews who practice Judaism, because I guess the Old Testament and the Torah are basically the same, have a lot of problems. There's both evangelicals and Hebrews who are opposed to the fact that the book of Esther is even in the Bible. One. Two, a lot of people say that this book is a mythology because according to one professor, Persians did not marry. They were saying basically the story is very unlikely because at that period of time, Persians never married outside of the seven Persian noble families. You always married within the seven noble families, and there's no way that a Jew, even a Jew living in the empire, would have been allowed to marry into the royal bloodline. And then there is another thing that said there is a general agreement among different groups that this story of Esther was created to justify the Jewish appropriation of an originally non-Jewish feast. The month of Adar. I'm so sorry, I'm getting to that point again. The month of Adar, which is when they celebrate Purim, is also the month of the fish. So apparently there is a very intimate relationship between this month or this celebration and the fish symbolism. I'm so sorry. Let's see. So where Project Esther is concerned, one of the commentators I saw was saying how this this project was going to be shrouded. How it's going to be used, that basically it was going to be like attempting to use Jews as a goat for a hidden white supremacy, or quote a hidden attack against Christianity. They're going to be saying it's a project that's supposed to protect Jewish people from anti-Semitism, but what it's actually going to do is be used as a hidden attack um against Christianity, things like that. Oh no, I'm getting to that point. um and that the primary thing that they're going to be attempting to do with this project is to run Christian conservative evangelical candidates on the local level. This is how they intend to quote seize government, is to use these talking points in this language. The reason I'm saying this is because everything that's been talking about where Project Esther is concerned is like concealing, hidden, da 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 da. Homegirl of mine just sent me a text maybe about a month ago saying all of a sudden 501c3s, especially religious 501c3s, can now support candidates. Up until just last week when they did that, or last month when they did that, as a 501c3 and as a religious 501c3, that was like one of the main tenets, was that you could not endorse a candidate. Now all of a sudden, seemingly out of nowhere, she just sent me the legislation where they made it law that now religious organizations and 501c3s can support candidates. And it is because of this that the Project Esther is going to start running, basically running what seem like regular everyday people for these local positions. That this is how they're going to seize possession of the state, is running candidates at the local level for the board of education, like the local school board, like all the little things, judges and city council and all this stuff, and start throughout the country running evangelical candidates, and then mobilizing their Christian bases to seize possession of the state at the ground level. Yep. One person said this is their strategy, is to run church candidates or run churches as candidates on the local level to influence policy from the ground up, and that the whole thing is based on a white Christian nationalist agenda, but that it initially will be using quote anti-Semitism as the cover to embed Christian white nationalism into the local level. Doesn't it sound like what Esther did? Esther was a spook. Esther was a spook. Yeah, whole churches still individual candidates being run, but these individual candidates have whole churches at their disposal to function as the people that are running their campaigns, backing their campaigns, influencing their campaigns. Right? Okay, so then so they have, according to the Heritage Foundation, some of the language that they use in their new quote acronyms they've placed in there is, one is called HSN, Hamas Support Network. So this isn't going to be actual cells of terrorism, but they're going to start identifying as HSN, Hamas Support Networks, are going to be anybody that has ever been to a pro-Palestinian event or action, anybody that's ever been to a pro-Palestinian like demonstration, who has ever sent money to families in Palestine, who has ever supported in any way anybody talking about Palestine, students, businesses, anything like that. Now they will start to receive a what do you call it? Like they'll start to be identified as quote Hamas support networks, and how they will start to comb through everybody's social media and all of this shit to see if they've ever supported any kind of pro-Palestinian campaigns or legislation or anything like that, to identify them as HSN, Hamas support networks. And so those that are considered HSN. One woman says Hamas becomes synonymous with Haman in the story of Esther, the true evil villain of the story. This is what the girl said. So many Hamans and only one Purim. But Purim, even though Purim means the lot that was cast and they celebrate how they overcame the plot was, or the lot that was cast and the overturning or the reversing of the plot was a genocide. And so she says there is a common saying, so many among the Jews, so many Hamans, only one Purim, only one genocide. And so she said, anybody who is not, quote, seen as us is seen as Haman. She said, hell, for the definition, as broad as the definition is in Project Esther, she said, we all Hamans or Hamans or whatever. We all Hamans. We all Hamans. Then as okay, so this happened. I marked the time. It was 7/28/2025 at 10:20 as I'm reading about Ishtar, the queen of heaven, as I'm reading about her online while researching the project, a video of what was it called? The video was called it was called Project Esther, a short documentary. Project Esther, a short documentary. As I was watching this documentary, and I was actually researching something online about Ishtar because it kept coming up, in different biblical verses. I says, as I'm reading about her online while researching the project, a video of Hamas. They're showing Hamas chanting, "We are the lions, we are the thunder's roar." This is what the military is chanting. We are the lions, we are the thunder's roar. And online at the same time, I'm reading a wiki about Ishtar, and it says at the same time that I'm getting goosebumps telling y'all this shit. At the same time that I was watching this documentary and researching and taking notes, there was a quote on the wiki about Ishtar, the queen of heaven. She also the goddess of rain and thunderstorms, leading to her association with On, the sky god, who was pictured with a lion whose roar resembled thunder. Y'all get me? As I'm watching these dudes in Hamas chant over and over again, we are the lions, we are the thunder's roar, we are the lions, we are the thunder's roar. I look down in my phone at the wiki that I have opened as this shit is playing at the same fucking time. We are the lions, we are the thunder's roar. We are the lions, we are the thunder's roar. And I read about Ishtar. She is also the goddess of rain and thunderstorms, leading to her association with the god On, the sky god, who is pictured with a lion whose roar resembles thunder. I was like, what the fuck? At the same time, I said, I gotta be done. I said, this is too much. This is too much. I wrote the date and the time because I was like, what? Yo, I said, what? And why is that relevant? So-called this whole area of the world, the so-called Middle East, the relationship between the Middle East, what's happening in Iran. Iran is this place that Esther is talking about. This book of Esther is based in what we now know as current day Iran. Persia, especially the heart of Persia, at the heart of the Persian Empire, is modern day Iran. Babylon is modern day Iran. I said, oh my God, damn. Yo. And we right up in here in Leo season. And I'm sitting here watching a video just a few days ago, and they talking about we are the lions. We are the wait a minute. We are the lions. We are the thunder's roar. We are the lions. But they 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 doing a cadence. We are the lions. We are the thunder's roar. And then I'm looking down at my phone in the wiki, and it said, yeah, she is always pictured as the rain, the goddess of rain and thunderstorms, and she's associated with the lions, and the lions roar resembling thunder. I said, this too much. This too much. Okay. Anyway, let's see. What else do I want to talk to y'all about? So within the context of all this, so the reason I wanted to talk to y'all about this Esther thing, is because I read something else during that time. I kept asking the question: has there been a one period since the United States was, quote, birthed in 1776? Has there been one period of time, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, where we've had like moments of peace, where we wasn't at war nowhere? And this guy, this astrologer, was saying, because he was talking about America's solar return, which happened on July 4th. He was like, in this history of America, this 250-year period of America as America, there has only been collectively 17 years. In 250 years, there's only been 17 years. And this ain't even outward. This is just in the United States of America, I guess. There's only been 17 years where America, well, no, it got to be globally, where America has not been at war. There's only been 17 years of peace. There's only been 17 years of peace in the 250 years of America. I said, dang, 17 years of so-called peace in the 250 years that America has been America. 17 years. I said, damn, man. Yeah. What else he had? He had a lot interesting to say, but something else that came up was generation studies. So everybody is talking about like the conflict among the generations, like Gen X versus Gen Z versus Gen Alpha versus millennials versus boomers, this and that and this and that. And I saw this video, and this dude was talking about how Gen X was a quote generation that showed up the most to vote for Trump. I said, you see how shit be real skewed when you don't consider race, when you don't consider gender, you just say all the Gen X's went out to vote for Trump. Like, boy, you lying. You lying. You lying. And it's just so interesting how y'all conveniently disappear black people, brown people, red people, yellow people. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just conveniently disappear people out of every discussion. So he's going off for a whole hour about all the ways that Gen X is fucked up. I'm like, Gen X has been like the most consistently progressive, the most consistently rebellious, the most consistently like fuck you in your antiquated ways. And all of a sudden, everything that's wrong with modern society. He didn't say white Gen Xers. He didn't say white male Gen Xers. He didn't say that. He said Gen Xers, y'all niggas fucked up because y'all was drinking out of water hoses that had lead in it or whatever. You feel me? And so because y'all fucked up in the head because y'all have so much lead in your brain. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? That your parents left y'all in hot cars and didn't have no seatbelts to put on. Whatever. He was just running down the list of all the ways that Gen Xers is fucked the fuck up. And this is why we all ran to the polls to vote for Trump. I was like, that's some real short-sighted, narrow, linear ass shit. That shit was bizarre to me. I said, people are really bizarre in how they assess the world, like how they come to the conclusions. And now I'm telling you, that's why not being dialectic, not being a scientist, not having the ability to see where the strands of life cross and intersect with one another. Y'all talk about intersectionality and y'all don't even know what that shit means. Y'all don't even know what that shit means. That shit blew my mind. A damn long ass video about the differences in the generations and how Generation X was the most fucked up of them all. I said, y'all is bizarre as hell. I was bizarre as hell. You know what I mean? Yeah, I feel that way too. I was like, how can this child come to this conclusion? Child, he went on and on and on and on and on. Talked about lead and gas. He said between the ages of, between the years of 1965 and 1980, it was estimated that 151 million people who with diagnosed mental illness was directly due to lead poisoning through gas, at which caused the lowering of IQ and ADHD. And he talked about a lot of stuff, but it was interesting. I said I'm gonna have to do a whole different take on this question about Gen X's, because and there was a book he was saying that we should all read called The Exhausted Earth. Oh, The Exhausted of the Earth, Politics in a Burning World. There were some interesting things that he mentioned, but I was like, that's a pretty sweeping ass analysis to come to, where everybody that I've ever known as a Gen X was like, they were like awesome humans, very diverse in their taste about everything in life. Anyway, I think I'm done. I'm tired, and I didn't realize it was almost 1 o'clock. I've been on here for damn near, almost 4 hours, 3.5 hours. So I'm tired. Hopefully, this discussion about the Esther project, I know I read almost the whole book of Esther, but it gives you some idea about what it is you're witnessing. This legislation it's like an inception ritual. That's what it is. It's like an inception ritual. It's like Mordecai planted his niece in the position to end up in the king's palace because he saw an opportunity in her having proximity to the king. She was the seed he planted in the king's palace. That's what he did. He was the mentor and she was the spook. You feel me? And so the bidding that she did was her uncle's bidding. You feel me? And so when you're looking at this Project Esther shit, see it from that perspective as well as the perspective from which we opened up in, which was being able to recognize good news when you see it, child. Being able to recognize good news when you see it, and stop taking everybody else's assessment on what it is you witnessing. Being able to recognize when the conspiracy that you are casting is working. Being able to recognize when the conspiracy that you are casting is working. That's what I mean when I say good news. Being able to say, oh shit, we did that. We did that. We did that. We did that. You feel me? So every time I see some terrible story about some effed up individual, I'm immediately speaking his name out loud and then speaking the conspiracy on top of it. Everybody can get it. You know who you is and you know who you wrong, and you have time to redeem yourself. But the mother's judgment is coming down swift these days, so you better get your life right. You better be trying to make amends. When I say I am invigorated when I see this kind of news and I see this kind of clamoring they're doing to redeem themselves, to cover up, to play in your face. It has nothing to do with anything political. We don't know. We don't know. It seems personal. We don't know what the personal is, but it seems personal to us. It doesn't seem like it's politically motivated, even though we are the largest landholders in the whole country, Blackstone. That we have bought up more single family homes. And this is the reason that can't nobody afford to buy a house, can't even look forward to the possibility of buying a house in the future. It's because we done bought them all up, turned them into Airbnbs and Bs and shit. We robbing y'all blind and y'all letting us. And so somebody was like, well, damn, I ain't got shit to lose. So fuck it. Don't let these people terrorize y'all. You feel me? It's working. It's working. It's working. It's working. Every time you read some news, say, ooh, it's working. Every time you see something odd or crazy, oh, it's working. It's working. It's working. It's working. Mm-hmm. That's your mantra. That's your mantra, because we rolling up quick on the day where we going to be closing out this particular aspect of the ceremony. Now, I'm telling you, for me, I'm gonna be yeah, this is gonna be my standard conspiracy, but we're closing out this particular area of it where we chanting down Rome, we chanting down the Roman Empire, you feel me? We chanting down the Nicene Creed, we chanting down this institution that has rained hell on all of us, you feel me? But we can apply that conspiracy. We'll identify a new target once we close out this ritual with the Nicene Creed. We'll identify a new target. I'll let y'all know what that is. We'll identify a new target, and then we'll spend a little time on them too. And then we'll identify another one and spend a little time on them too. And then we'll identify another one and we'll spend a little time on them too. We got work to do. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and go. I'm sleepy. I'm hanging on by a thread. Yes, plenty conspiracies. Yes, I accept that. But every time you if you got some news that you didn't see, but I ain't seen, make sure to send me a headline or something on my email. I've got about 1,000 emails to catch up on because I've been neck deep in this jewelry order that I'm finally finishing up tonight. And then I got about 10 million goddamn emails to plow through tomorrow. But send me an email and yeah, see y'all tomorrow. Have a great night. I'm gonna try to find this music that I sang to y'all at the beginning from Ty here. I hope y'all love my shirt. Ooh, she's so big. Oh, you know what? I will tell you one more thing. While I've been up in here making jewelry like a crazy person, oh my God, I want to show y'all something. Hold on. Let me show you something. Oh, sorry, buddy. Will you just be right up under my foot? Okay, so I got something to show y'all. A couple of somethings to show y'all. One, I just got a new book called, I won't read it, but I'll just tell you what it is. So what I've heard is really great. It's one of them books. I guess what the word is that if you buy it, your ass go on a list. So I bought it used. Anyway, so I'm excited about getting into that. And then remember I was telling y'all about the scarab necklaces, and I haven't done a snakeskin one yet, but I did finish. Well, I got to string them tonight. Like I got to string them, but I did the first because these were ordered. And I don't see her on here, I don't think. But anyway, I got some pieces made. They so fire. So this is one. So I set the scarab in red coral. See? So I set the scarab in red coral, and then I drilled a hole up here. So I'm gonna string it tonight. I haven't figured out how I'm gonna string it yet, but anyway, isn't that gorgeous? And it's so crazy because once I put the resin on it, it's just like the color just stands out so brilliant. It looked a little hazy, but then once I put the resin on it, she just is glistening. And then even her underbelly is so beautiful. The underbelly of the scarabs is like this kind of bluish green. Look at that. Gorgeous. Like glistening. See that? Anyway, so that is going to be strung. So I did that with the red coral. So that's one. That's on the clear mount, and then this one's on a black mount. So you see the mount is black. I like this one a lot too on the black mount because it's red, black, and green. You feel me? I like that. Right. So there she is on that one. And then this one was the first one I show you. I have to file this down. because this was just the first one I was experimenting on. It was just going to be like in a little small. Uh, yes, well, yes, Patrick, my cats are killers, and so every time I keep my balcony door open because I have my cat's litter box on the balcony, and so this time of the year, there's a matter of fact, there's been a lot of these beetles flying into the apartment, and my cats go on high alert. And so all the scarabs that I have are unfortunately sacrificial victims of my cats, Storm and Tempest. So they catch them and play with them till they die. And then I take their little well preserved carcasses and have been keeping them in a box for about a year. And somebody was like, "Oh, you need to make a necklace out of them." I was like, I was thinking about what I was going to do, and that's a great idea. And so this is the one I worked on. I still have to file it down, but this doesn't have a mount. I'd actually poured this into a cup, and I still need to drill the hole in it and shave the outside down. But that one, this one is my personal piece. I may tax somebody hard to unhand it, but as it stands, I was like, "No, this one's be mine." It's hard. It's got amethyst. I forget what this stone is called. I need to look it up. But I forget what this stone is called. It looks kind of like black selenite. You know how selenite is striated like that? This black stone looks like black selenite. And I know there's no black selenite, but that's the way it looks because this is the back of it. It's like striated like selenite in these long straight lines. This is what it looks like unfinished. But this is what I did to the front, bitch. So I took the resin and mounted my scarab on there and a triangular piece of amethyst. And then I found this spiral bead just last week when I told y'all I was looking for the bottle can caps and stuff. I found this bead on the ground next to a trash can. I was digging in for bottle tops. Mm-hmm. Sure did. This little spiral bead, and that spiral bead matches my first brand, the little spiral brand I did on my arm. Right. I was like, "Oh shit, that's fire!" So I mounted my little scarab on there, and then the little triangle, the downward facing triangle, and the little spiral. And so what I'll probably do is end up like doing like a very basic, simple wrap on it to, like string it like so. Fire, I know. Anyway, so that's that. And then I showed you the book. That's it. So yeah, so these are already ordered. The mounted scarabs are already ordered, and I am charging 108 for the scarabs, and they will be strung. And also I'll have probably tomorrow or Saturday some snake skins because I told you all of these are finite. I think I have 22 scarabs left, maybe 20 to 22 scarabs left that I can mount. And I'm selling these as talismans. So I'll send like a little, I'll send some stuff with it that'll tell you how to activate your talisman, how to use it, that type of stuff. And some of you are like in my folders, there's actually a video of the workshop that I taught. When was that? Was it May? I think it might have been May when I taught the workshop at that wellness event on the difference between charms, talismans, and amulets. And then I led a workshop on how to create your own personal talisman. So you can go back to that video and get the deeper 411 on this energy as a talisman and how to activate it. But yes, so I'm selling as talismans. The snake skin, it's rattlesnake skin. So that too is obviously finite. And so the talisman that's made from the scarab will be 108. The talisman made with the snake skin will also be 108. Those are finite. I haven't laid the skin out yet to see how many talismans I will be able to make from it. But it's first comes, first serve. So those I'll be posting over the next few days on my Etsy store, and you can determine for yourself what your needs are going to be. And then that's that. I will see y'all tomorrow. I'm tired and I still have to stay up a little while and finish making some things. But hopefully my little take on the Esther project was helpful, because yeah, yeah, more to come. All right, peace. Good night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Patrick, me, you, and your partner need to get together soon. Like maybe I can come over to the crib and we can get like Chinese food or something. But we need to link with the quickness. There's something I really want to talk to you guys about. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.